Yeah, okay, good, good. Things are working. Things are proper. Things are right. I've just got back from Newcastle, which had its own weather system where there was thunder and lightning, but only over the city. Anywhere else was totally fine. Gateshead also affected, but that's the other side of the river to Newcastle. And some people think it is Newcastle. Hello. How you doing? Oh, very hot. I see. Yeah, you know you're hot. Uh-huh. Excellent. So we're getting people. People isn't good. We are getting excited for things. We will see if there's much to get excited for. Now, if you are expecting a lot of 40k stuff, don't be. Don't be. It's, not necessarily much about 40k this time around. 11th edition has come out recently, so they're not going to do more 40k stuff to build on that when they can just say, hey, we've got Codex is coming. Hey, we don't have a working rule system, but it's mostly working, so it's fine. Asterix, hashtag, in closed brackets, underlined twice. It's fine. They're going to be doing a lot of other things like Blood Bold, not Blood Bold, the podcast I have with Paul, Blood Ball, and Old World, and New Necromunda. New Necromunda, some stuff. I don't think it's got much stuff for a while. At least in the Gene Stealer cultness. At least in the Gene... No, I don't think there's been anything Necromunda for a while. So, is it weird that I prefer the 90s Necromunda to the new Necromunda, like the 2017 Necromunda? The more recent gang books that have come out have felt like a balance patch to make the game work, rather than adding in anything new to play Necromunda. It's also very difficult because you're playing a game where you change the weapons of your warband, but they're physical models, so you can't change the weapons of your warband unless you want to do a lot of cut and gluing. Snapping bits off and not. So when we're looking at this, expect only like a kill team teaser, not necessarily anything Exodite related, but that would be nice. They could do a Space Marine versus kill team, Space Marine kill team versus Orc kill team that isn't going to be released separately later on. They could do, here's your Vanguard veterans in kill team, but this is a multi-part kit, and there's like 9 different character types you can have. There's one with 2 lightning claws, one with a thunder hammer and a shield, one with a chainsaw and a bolt pistol. Stuff like that. Against like Mega Nobs / Nobs. Both, or just one, not the other. It could be something like that. Or they could go for a totally different faction that isn't Space Marines and Orcs, because they'll be getting enough stuff already. They're going to at least mention the new Codex is coming out. We may get told if there's going to be any new major changes to how a Codex works. Like, we're cutting out all of the Crusade rules. And we know already they're cutting out all of the Crusade rules. That's not fun. So the next Codex, the 11th edition Codex, will probably be like the Space Marine 10th edition Codex, but with less stuff and also cost more. Could do Orc Nobs versus Exodites, yeah. Yeah. Now, they're also going to show off the terrain. However, that got leaked. We know about the terrain that's coming, the pre-painted terrain. This was meant to be the moment where they showed it off and they're like, pre-painted terrain? Isn't that crazy? Oh my goodness, it's going to be great and coming. And also, orcs on bikes. New orcs on bikes. Yeah. So they may only release... Oh yeah, they could reveal the start collecting boxes and combat patrol. I don't know about rules. That seems a bit much for a 40k stream of this caliber. It's So it may just be, hey, there's some combat patrol boxes coming for Orcs and Space Marines, which you already know if you've looked in the app. There we have the combat patrol stuff, not combat patrol rules in full. We don't know when the combat patrol rules proper in full will be coming. It's probably going to be something a bit later on where they say, hey, there's now a download. You can download the combat patrol rules. I wouldn't expect that before the end of July, rather than now. When the new Codex comes out, will it have a new code for the Warhammer app? Yes, it will. And if you bought the existing Codex, like if you went out this weekend and you bought the Space Marine Codex and the Orc Codex, and they have their code in it, that will give you the rules currently on the app. Come September, when the new Codex comes out, everything you have will stop working, as far as I understand it. So that we're going to get, not like mentioned in this stream, but there will be a datasheet patch at the end of July, and maybe another one at the end of August, and maybe another one at the end of September. And then they might leave it for a while, and then do it at the end of December. Carminians is a good name. I like that name. The vampires versus people in blue shirts kill team. That could work. So don't expect too much for 40k. So all we might get for 40k is the terrain we've already seen and a kill team, which is in theory more for the game kill team than 40k itself. So don't expect too much or anything really for 40k coming out. 11th edition is out now and it's had a kind of mixed response in my area. My local friendly local gaming store sold about 6 copies. No, pre-ordered 6 copies. One person didn't want it because I found out what was inside, and so didn't buy it. Like, cancel the order, but it'd already been ordered to the shop. One person returned their box because they opened it and was like, there's no terrain. There's no area card terrain. This rulebook isn't the full rulebook. It tells me to go to the app. So there's now been a big box returned, and that is now a prize for some club event whenever the event is run. First time on the stream. Excellent. Very good. People should type 0 if this is like they've never seen a stream of mine before, also never seen a video of mine before, and they just happen to turn up here. And type 1 if this is your first stream that you're seeing of me. Or if you've done more than one, type any number that's higher than 1. And put that in the chat. There we go. See, we got some 2s. Someone is spelling the word 1. That is also reasonable. First time stream for a lot of people. Nice. Very good. Now, I assume most of you are happy with 11th edition because you're probably not going to keep watching people talking about 11th edition if you didn't much like it. You would stop playing it and not care what people are saying about it other than, it's not great. Okay. Some new people. Quite a few new people. A lot of old faces. Old usernames that I recognize. Good stuff. Yeah, I did a poll. Warhammer community poll. No, YouTube community poll. I don't have access to Warhammer community to make things. YouTube community poll. And most people are going to like it because they're watching 40k. People, you're going to watch me. And the people who left 40k at the start of this new edition are not going to see the poll. You don't really want to play 11th because you're a guard player. It does look to be very mean to guard players. You issue orders, then see that you're still battle shocked, and then the order does nothing. -1 or -2 to hit is not good for guard players with all the shooting shenanigans. Necrons seem really powerful with that. Oh yeah, I'm just going to resurrect this character, don't mind me. You did precision? No, he's come back, it's fine. Any tips for using the Insidiants? I did a video on the Insidiants. I'm thinking I'll do a video comparing the Insidiants and the Sacrosancts at some point. Maybe after we've got a balance to see if the points change on the Sacrosancts. Otherwise, I'm just saying, hey, yeah, dude, you sure you want Sacrosancts? I don't know if you want Sacrosancts. Blood Angels didn't do well? What's happened to Blood Angels? I've not looked at Blood Angels. I don't think their detachments are particularly bad. Yeah. Oh, I'm waiting for Games Workshop to say, oh yeah, the kill team, it's Celestians with guns. That would be lovely. They're just higher points to regular Marines? Ah, I see. That's not ideal for Blood Angels. I think Deathwatch came out of it pretty well, considering being Imperial agents don't have an army rule, and some of their units, well, at least one of their units, is now cheaper as an ally than in Imperial agents. Battle Sisters lost Miracle Dice on units being destroyed because of this whole, we're all one unit until we're broken into, no, until we're dead, and then it's just one unit that's dead. We don't break into several different units. Genestealer Cult have an army rule that means I can't play several of the detachments because I want to bring back the big things, like 10 Acolytes with a character. There you go. Celestians with guns wouldn't work in Champions of Faith. Yeah, I know. Neither do the Insidiants. Which one's the best one to learn Genestealer Cult in 11th edition? I think you'll do alright with Host of Ascension. That's a good learning detachment. It teaches you the basic way that Genestealer Cult plays. A lot of up and down. Ignore cover. Very useful. Right, I should probably get the things ready. Now, are they streaming this on the Warhammer website, YouTube channel, or... oh yes, the Warhammer website. Tells me right away. Where do I want to be? I want to be here. We want that to be changed to that. Okay, gonna have to change that around a little bit. Ah, yes, I changed it because it wasn't previously a video. We did stuff other than videos. Don't care about their chat, only my chat is important. There we go. I'm assuming you can't hear anything right now from it, which should be correct. Because they'll play copyrighted music at the start. That's fine. Are they doing a weird little quiz thing? Oh, I see. They're doing a little quiz thing. The last quiz show I was on is already... Yeah, the last quiz show I was on is already out. There we go. The answer's Princeps. I'm pretty sure the answer's Princeps. I see. They've been doing it for about 10 minutes. All right, good. Right, that is working at least through my ears. That's fine. If I hit that, can you now hear the music from their stream? Got music? Great. Okay, yeah, it's a bit loud. I get that. But you know that as soon as they start talking, it's going to be very, very quiet. Because that's how they roll. So this is it's an interesting idea, having like a little quiz at the start of the stream to get people engaged, I guess. Chapter Master Calgar has a middle name? Surely it's one of the Roman ones, I would have thought. Augustus? Augustus sounds right. There we are. It's the most Roman sounding one. Right. Okay, good. No, his name is Manius Alcalgar. Manius A. Calgar. Which one didn't have its own Stirland? I don't think Stirland had its own emperor. Whereas Midland definitely did. I mean, this is Old World or Warhammer Fantasy Battles for this one. Mac. Yeah. Nordland. Interesting. I mean, one of the 3 emperors was an empress, so... What is the Death Skull's thing? Luck. Being blue. Yeah, there we go. Oh, it's all of the above. It's all of the above. Stealing and plundering and fitting tanks together, because they love blowing up tanks and then looting the tanks and then driving the tanks into battle where they explode once again. Very good. I thought there were 4 emperors. There might have been. It depends which time you're at. I'm thinking Mordheim, but I don't think they're going to mention bringing back Mordheim at any point. Which is a shame, but I don't know how well they would do it. I suppose they had the Age of Sigmar skirmish game, which I've forgotten the name of and didn't get enough love. Yeah, no looted tanks at the moment. I mean, that's it, Warcry, thank you. They did the Crucible of Champions build your own character. I wonder if they dare go back to the build your own vehicle rules again. B for Telepathica. I found Warcry to be okay. Warcry was fine. Which vampire clan am I from? No, it's not Carstein. It's a mix of Larmian and Carstein, so that's where you get Carmian from. Should be very easy to pronounce for anyone who knows the Larmians, the Carmians, and the Carsteins. Is it Karnstein? No, it's Carstein. Carstein. Is it Vehicle Pint Carstein? That sounds right. The Warcry models were definitely fun, and they do look good in Age of Sigmar armies. I just don't know if they're going to be that good generally as a game system. Here we are.
The big summer Warhammer preview. I am Adam Troke. This is Eddie Eccles, and we're delighted to have your company.
Is that
yeah,
loud
this is
enough?
going to be a really cool preview. We've got stuff from loads of different game systems to show you, loads of Warhammer to talk about. We think about 90 minutes of stuff. Is that
Yeah,
right?
it should run to about that long,
90
depending on
minutes
how
of
far
stuff.
we talk and how sidetracked we
Okay,
get
I was
by all the
expecting
details.
45
But yeah,
minutes
for the
of
next
stuff.
hour and a half or so, we're going to fill the air with loads of cool Warhammer things. We've got things to cover from Warhammer 40,000, Warhammer Age of Sigmar.
I'm still not
Warhammer
sure
the
if he
Old World,
likes Iron
Warhammer
Warriors or
Necromunda,
if he just
Warhammer
has a
Blood
broken
Bowl,
laptop.
Warhammer Horus Heresy, and Legions Imperialis. Have I forgotten anything?
Kill Team.
Warhammer 40,000 Kill Team. So loads to go
Loads of
through.
different systems. It's not every single system that we
currently
make.
that
There are a few
audio's
systems
working.
we couldn't quite squeeze
Absolutely.
in. So we haven't got any Warcry for you. We haven't got any Underworld.
Or Middle Earth.
We haven't got any Middle Earth. But we'll have stuff on all of those game systems in the not too distant
No
future.
Middle
Absolutely.
Earth.
So keep your eyes on warhammercommunity.com if you want to hear about the news on those as it happens. Meanwhile, while the chat fills up and we get ready to kick off, there's a few things we normally do. The first thing is that we ask people in the chat where you're from. I was looking at the chat as people answered the...
I enjoyed the quiz.
The quiz was fun, right?
Good fun.
Did you get
The
any
quiz
right?
was
Any
decent.
right?
I got all
It
of
was
them
a
right,
decent
obviously,
idea.
Adam.
You know,
I did
no
also
opposing
have right
the
questions, so I did have cheated a bit.
the
Perfect.
quiz.
I was doing all right myself. And I saw where some people are from. We've got people from Texas. There's people from all around the UK. Lot from Europe as well. I saw some
Well, I'm
France
glad
and some
there's
Germany.
people from
So
around
wherever
the
you are in this
UK.
global Warhammer community, welcome to this
It's a
preview. We're
decent
delighted
time
that
to be
you
doing a
would
live
choose to
stream,
spend some time with
mostly.
us.
Are you doing any hobby recently, Adam?
I have. I've found doing hobby a bit hard, been very busy, and also the weather is
I don't know if
been
they've
a
got the
bit warm,
best.
hasn't it?
asthma to painting right
Like
now.
sound
here in the UK,
mixing.
we are getting burninated. But I have put together everything.
And I wonder they can
that was on
still
the
mess
Space
up
Marine
things
side
by
of
showing
my
something too
Armageddon
early
box,
or talking
including
over it, or the
Dark
audio
Ages,
doesn't work
Dark
on their
Ages,
little trailer.
Why not?
the
Yeah,
models
why not?
with some extra details and back banners and things like that. What about you?
Bit of Eldari, picked some of them. Doing a little bit of Caradron.
Painting Eldar, they're not new.
Did you finish your cocktail?
I did finish my Cog Fort, yes.
Perfect.
I had a good time with that. I did loads of
It was a
it.
walk-on, wasn't it?
Thank
It
you
was,
for the monies.
So, meanwhile, the other thing.
Oh
I've been
yeah,
doing
people's
to fill a little bit of
armies.
my
If you
hobby
play
time,
an
I've
army,
been
you're never
sort of
going to get anything
theory
good from
hammering
the
some
army.
lists.
It's
using
nothing for
Warhammer
you
40,000
at any
Yes.
particular
and I've
point.
been looking at. I saw somebody had made a really interesting little video on like Instagram or somewhere about how you could use the Fulgurist detachment, which is like land speeder centric, and so I'm trying to work out how I can synergize that with all of my Ravenwing things. Very
He watches
fast-moving
Instagram
sort of,
on the Fulgur's taskforce.
attacking and deep
I mean,
striking.
Instagram's going to be pretty short,
Yeah,
so
a
you
lot
can
of
only
people
really
doing,
cover one
Warhammer
detachment point
40,000
detachment.
Communist theorying at the
Yeah, I've
moment,
been
aren't they?
caught up in the wave, I think. What about you?
Yeah, obviously. I've got one list for every single faction in 40k.
And you've played your first
Wow,
official
they have
game
a list for
against-
every
one
faction
game,
40k.
one
There's
unofficial
someone
game
who's
I've
paid for the
so far
app.
with my Eldar against some Tau.
You are undefeated, retire now.
So far, undefeated.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Gotta love it. Right. So, as we said, we've got loads of things to talk about throughout the course of this preview. Thank you so much for joining us, and we hope that you have a nice time.
Space Marines will come out with
by going
something.
to the grim darkness of the far future, and we're going to talk about some things for Warhammer 40,000.
Oh, they're probably going to do
So,
bookend
here
with
we are
40k.
with Warhammer 40,000 Armageddon, the launch box for the new edition, sort of out there in the wild. It's worth talking about some of the things that are coming up. And the first thing that we're going to talk about is how new people to Warhammer might get started in the Warhammer 40,000 hobby with some Warhammer 40,000 starter sets. So here is the Warhammer 40,000 starter set. We've got one in the flesh.
Okay,
This
now,
is
this going to
an
have
enormous
terrain?
box and is the perfect way if you've never played Warhammer 40,000 before and want to get started to jump straight into the hobby. Eddie, what can you tell us about it?
Yeah, so we did know that
Is
some of
this
the
like
miniatures
the real
from the
starter
Warhammer
set?
40,000 Armageddon set would be available in other sets in the future. This is one of the first places you'll be able to get hold of them. So in this,
Yeah,
you effectively
blue
have
Space
a
Marines
combat
again.
patrol of Space Marines, painted as Ultramarines, but you paint them whatever colour you want. You've also got a combat patrol of Orcs. You've also
Does
got
it
a
get the mud?
battlefield of stuff to play across, and effectively a combat patrol's worth of battlefield terrain for combat patrols.
So it's half your terrain
Yeah,
set.
absolutely. This is essentially everything you need to get started with your first games of Warhammer 40,000 all in one box. All the models are push fit. The terrain's really easy to put together.
Good.
It's got the game board and all of the pieces,
Good,
pieces marked
good.
out for you to put your terrain on.
You get
can
the
just
game
play
board.
straight out of this box if you want to.
Yeah, it's also got all the rules and stuff in there.
Yeah, absolutely. You've
All
got your
the
core
rules?
and
Does it
the
really
sort
have
of
all the
guide for using
rules?
The models that are in the box. So this is the first of the starter products that we're going to talk about right now, but there's more to come. So what if you wanted to get started in Warhammer 40,000? You don't want the two-player launch set.
Okay, so
you
there's
just
a
want,
tiny
maybe,
version. We've seen that
starter
already
set which
when they
focuses on one
had
of the factions.
the,
Well, this is getting
the
started
Combat
with
Patrol
Space Marines
Explainer.
and is the same combat patrol that you saw in the previous box, and it comes complete with
Yes,
the
you've got
paints
5
you need to do
intercessors,
your
I
first paint
think.
jobs on these models. I think it's 11 paints in the set,
Yeah.
so you can get
Stop
started
spinning
right
it.
away with the Adeptus
You've
Yeah,
got
and
a
this is perfect
librarian,
if
you've got
you've already
5
got a
Vanguard
game group,
veterans.
they've already got their box sets, they've split them all up, and you've got an odd number of players, and what if you want Space Marines, you can grab
And you've
yourself
got your
this
land
set
speeder.
and start playing straight away. This is your self-contained little starter set for Space Marines.
It will perhaps surprise nobody to know there is an Orc equivalent of this.
Yes, this is almost exactly the same, but green.
There you go.
So you
Okay.
have the Combat Patrol for
You get
Orcs,
2
then you've got a
paints,
bunch of
that's
variously
something.
Orky paints. So this is a great little set if you want to kick off an Orc army.
Yeah, and I think
it's gonna
one of the
be
things
what,
to note
20
here, you've
Orc
already said it,
boys?
but if you're just looking
Gretchen,
to
I'm
sort
trying to
of join in with an existing group, or maybe
pause
just
at the
start
right
one of these
point,
armies for the first time,
as
and
it's
you're
spinning.
already in Warhammer 40,000, this really is a great
Yeah, it looks
way
like
to
10
do it,
Gretchen,
'cause
20
you get the
boys,
paint
War
you need to
Boss,
start the
Weird
painting
Boy,
process to.
and the track.
Or if you just have an Orc army and just want loads more
Just
boys.
want a bunch of
just want
reinforcements.
loads more Orcs.
Yeah, no kidding.
So if you,
there's
yeah,
another
there you
way
go.
to get
If you
started
do
as well,
just want
which
the
is this
Space Marine
introductory
side
set, and I
from
find
the
this one
launch
to be quite
box,
exciting.
you
You've got
could
some
get
Space
that
Marines
and it
some
will
Orcs
give
and
you
some paints,
most of
and
the
you can have a
Space
gaming
Marines.
experience, but it's really sort of a first steps into the Warhammer 40,000 gaming and hobby experience.
This
Yeah,
might
it's a little
actually
bit
be
of
a good
everything, and
starter
the thing
set,
that's cool about this to
which
point
is
out
different
is that
to the
while
launch
the
box.
other sets, the miniatures are the same ones from the Warhammer 40,000 Armageddon set. These
Yeah,
ones
this is
are brand
confirming
new
what the
miniatures.
Combat
you've got
Patrol for
5
11th
instances in there.
edition,
You've got a
at
Space Marine
least-
Lieutenant. It's been like a whole week since we had a new Space Marine Lieutenant.
couldn't have come
had
soon
to
enough.
have one. And then you've got a new unit of Orc Boys. Orc Boys are the same kind of unit as the ones you get in Armageddon, but they've got different poses. And critically, you've also got some heavy and special weapons
Yeah, you've
in
got
the
a
Orc
big
squad.
shooter and a rocket launcher inside.
Absolutely.
that
So
set.
if you want to add in
So
some
we're gonna
extra
get
shooting
regular Orc
into
boys.
your big Orc mobs, you can, and all the characters are kind of new poses as well. So it's quite a cool little set.
I don't
I
think
get
it'll be a version
really
without the
excited
paint
about
unless
all
there'll
the
be a
different
smaller
poses
one
and
already.
intercessors, particularly these sort of push fit ones, to find them easy to build. And so I'm hoping somebody will split that set with me, Eddie. Just hinting. There you go. We're on. Right. There's also some paint
Okay.
sets. This is
Fair
the
enough.
paint and tool set. This would synergize.
Oh, well, if you
perfectly
didn't,
with
if
that Warhammer 40,000
there's no
starter
set
where you get
without the
combat
paints,
patrols.
but if you want
It's got
just the
13
paints,
clippers, mold line removing tool, and a brush. Everything you need
then
to
there's
get
some
started
paints.
with your painting journey.
All right.
If you've never painted Warhammer models before, this would be a decent pickup.
Yeah, this is a lovely little set. I started
You know,
with a
you
set
can get a
lot like
better
this when I started
tool
playing
set,
Warhammer.
and I think they
you
do
can paint
paints
almost
as
anything
well,
with this box
or they're
'cause
gonna
you've
do
got
paints.
all your primary colours.
If
and then
you go
black
to the
and
Golden
white and
Maple
metallics and,
paintbrushes link
some really
in the
useful tools.
description,
So this is just a really
then they
solid
do
base
a
for
lovely
Yeah, absolutely. If you want one a little
kit.
more themed towards a particular army,
And,
you can
there's a
start with this,
discount
which is
code.
very much like the set I started.
If you
painting
use
with Warhammer,
code
which was an Orcs paint set
VTuber,
back
and
in
you
the
get
day.
20%
This is
off.
boys and paints, so you've
So
got
you can
6
get it
paints
way
and a brush
cheaper
and a couple of Orc boys
than
and a
what
grot.
Games Workshop would
Again,
give you.
just dip your
Otherwise, you
toe
can
into
get
the painting
two
experience.
books and a
see
Gretchen.
how you get along.
And some
There's
paints.
a Space Marine equivalent, which is intercessors and paints. Again,
Better to have just the paints or just the bits.
Intercessors.
And there's what, 2
Deep
Space
breath.
Marines?
That was a lot of ways to start your
Yeah.
Warhammer 40,000 experience. And I think it'd be a good time to like introduce your friends or a family member or relative or whatever that you want.
I've never thought
It's a really,
here's
it's a
some
really
like
good time to
free
start playing
intercessors
Warhammer 40,000
sort
because
of
it's a
with
brand
it
new
comes
edition.
with some
Everyone's kind of in the
models.
same place. Everyone's learning the
This
rules
is why we
together.
don't
It
care
is
about
the perfect time
intercessors
to
because
play.
they're like
I love it.
packaged in with everything.
So it follows on quite
It's like
nicely,
instead of the
because we're gonna talk
packaging,
about some
they
terrain
just
now.
add in
We've got
more
some
intercessors.
Really interesting terrain kits to point out and talk about. The first is Combat Patrol Battle Zone. So this is
Okay.
all of the
So
terrain
you can
you
buy
see
that
here
separate
in a
with the
box,
mat.
along with the game boards and the tiles to.
Okay,
terrain
that has the area
prints
terrain. You can
to put the
barely
terrain
see them on that
This
map, which
everything
is
you need in one box to
unfortunate,
play a complete
but
game
they
of
are
Combat
there.
Patrol.
Yeah. And if you've already bought the starter set, if you add this box onto the starter set, you effectively have a full
I see. So if you
board's
bought the
worth of
launch
terrain
box
for
and
something like
then
an
you buy
incursion
this,
2,000-point game
then
of
you
Warhammer
have
40,000,
everything.
or in a self-contained set, it is the exact right amount of stuff to play.
They
combat.
say 1,000.
Yeah, and worth pointing out this with this one, this like the models in the starter set are unpainted. So all of these terrain pieces.
Oh,
they
these
come
are the
on
unpainted
the
version.
grey
Oh,
plastic you're
okay.
familiar with, easy to put together, and then you can paint them in the colour.
sure they just said something about something,
1,000
points.
Whatever you would like.
Yeah, this set, Combat Patrol set, comes in around the same price as a Combat Patrol itself.
Perfect. Right. If you
Okay,
want
so
to
the
add
price
more
of
things
just
to it,
this
or you
board
just want
and
to
the
focus
terrain
on,
and the
building a
markers
terrain
is
board that suits your own
£100.
preferences. We've got a few little terrain sets to talk about. This is the manufactured
Ooh.
ruins, which are those sort of classic building shapes that you often see on battlefields.
All right, and then they split it
there's
all
some
up.
of these
So you've
in
got the
that
ruins,
Combat
but
Patrol
sold
set that we
separately,
just showed
just
you
the
before.
ruins.
There's more. There's also the galvanic network. This represents these power lines.
So this is
things that
stuff
run
that's
across
Combat
the,
Patrol,
sort of
yes,
ash
but you
wastes
can
of
also use it
Armageddon,
generally
and
in
it's a wonderful
40k,
way
and that's what
to
they're sort of
bring
encouraging
some
you to
character to
do.
your battlefield. And then you've got the capacitor cluster here, which looks like it's writhing with electricity.
Don't like that they've
and you've
split it
got
up
like a really
into
unfortunate
3
servitor
kind of
tapped in the
unnecessarily.
console at the front.
But yeah, it's
pretty
100.
tough
They said
defenses in
the
40,000.
terrain
It
and
is,
the
it's not
board
the best.
is the
Now,
same cost
all of that
as
is really
the Combat
exciting terrain.
Patrol
All comes
boxes
unpainted,
themselves.
and is all
I also
coming
don't like the
fairly soon down the
capacitor and the
pipe.
galvanization
This
thing.
is something
I
else
think
we need
they've
to explain
done
to
too
people
much
that
lightning.
you've already
I
talked
think
about a
it
little bit
works
with,
on,
Aidan
say, the
over before, right?
Necron
That's
Catan.
absolutely right. Currently, all the terrain in
Other
my
than
collection
that.
is Eddie painted.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And yeah, it's unpainted terrain. That's the painted, the unpainted terrain. Separately, they're going to sell painted terrain.
Ready painted
There
Battlefield
it is. The
Armageddon
ready
box.
painted stuff.
And this is everything you need for a full incursion-sized game of Warhammer 40,000 in one box. And all of the terrain in
Incursion-sized.
this comes ready painted and ready to go.
Yeah, the
What
box
do you
is
mean
enormous. It is
incursion
jam-packed
size?
with absolutely loads of fantastic terrain, and we've got one here to open. So what we thought we'd do is actually just crack one open and build one of the terrain pieces in it,
so-
nice and quickly to show
Combat
you
Patrol
what it's like.
explains why they
Adam
were
tells you
told
about it,
the
I'm
stores
gonna
were
build
told to
one of
paint
the
their
terrain
stuff
pieces
blue.
in here to show you how quickly we
Get
can make
clipping, right. So what we've got is some nice pictures to show you while Eddie gets
So are they
feverishly
going to
to
have
work.
different
here you
board
can
sizes
see
again
what
for
you're dealing
1,000 and
with.
2,000
Essentially,
points?
It is a full battlefield's worth of already painted terrain. Try and talk over the
In which
rummaging and
case,
crashing of Eddie.
You're going to need more maps.
The set comes with the game boards that you need. It has the terrain markers so you know where to put your terrain pieces onto. And obviously the terrain is painted to a ready painted to a brilliant standard. So if you are looking to just clip things out from the frames, put it together.
Yeah, I
quickly,
mean,
start
according
playing
to the
Warhammer
apps, when you try and
40,000
play a
on
game of like
Battlefield,
1,000
it's
points,
really
it doesn't
good.
take you
This
to
is a
something
wonderful way
saying,
to
oh,
do
you
it.
want a
It's gonna be
44 by 30
enormously
board.
popular with people who
The app
like
still
me
says
at home, I've already got my own
90 by
terrain board,
60.
but if I wanted to host a game night and I wanted maybe like three
No,
friends to come
not
over so we
90
could
by
like
60.
play
That's
round
onslaught.
robin style games,
But it's not onslaught.
this would enable me to do it nice
No,
and
it's
quickly.
just
You can imagine gaming clubs
big.
and tournaments and all of those people who have a need for a nice looking battlefield.
All the maps
quickly,
seem to be
are
saying,
gonna
yeah,
find
this
to be
is
really
use
exciting.
the same maps.
Pull that one up.
Oh, there you
Or
go.
our
I'll show you what
advice
it looks like.
is
Here you go. If we get a zoom in on this,
the 44
so this is a
by
piece directly off of
60.
the frame that Eddie has just worked on, and you can see the level of detail. You've got the fantastic glow effects around the sort of the lumens and the candles
Yeah,
and so
that
on.
looks
Inside, you can see the
fine.
interior detail. Some within the sort of the walls, you can see this sort of chipped and very nicely done sort of corrosion dripping down the walls.
If you don't want to
Really
paint
is a
terrain,
very
and that's perfectly
impressive,
reasonable, I
piece
don't
of
think you
terrain.
really
Almost
need
there,
to
almost there.
paint terrain
So now we got
for a
two.
lot of
Now
the stuff.
I always try and put these together too early, so I don't want.
And even then, like spraying certain parts
Essentially,
is
it
fine.
just push fits. One of the things that we've discovered, the guys who run our global events are really excited about this because it's going to enable them to put together large battlefields very quickly, and you can also unclip these things when you're ready to and put it back into a relatively
So I think-
small space.
Yeah, the
There
whole
you go.
thing actually. If you
So it's
leave
meant to
the
be
kind of floors off,
the layout in a
then the whole
box.
thing- oh, wait, to clip out those.
We need to do a bit more clipping.
It's nice that it's offered, yes.
If
And
you
some
take the claws
people
out, the
who will
whole
be
thing
like,
packs back
okay,
into
we
the
have a
box.
lot
There
of
you go.
money.
Pretty much.
We're going to do an event.
Which is nice if you're looking for somewhere to store your models.
Please go buy £200 worth of terrain and they'll come back
So
with
one
one
of the things I
table's
think that's
worth.
quite nice about
Yeah, I
this
see
is,
that's maybe a
I
problem.
speed painted my entire battlefield, but it took me all of a Saturday to build, and then all of a Sunday to
Or
speed
you can
paint,
get Grand
and it's
Theft
still
Auto
not of
6.
the same quality as the completion on this. So you've done the first building in what? The amount of time.
Why
it's
do the
taken us to
lights on
talk
the
about
runes
this.
work?
There
That
we
is
go.
a very
Moving
good
around.
point.
And it really does look wonderful. You can see the bulkhead.
The
door and
electricity
everything
must
inside
come
it.
from
I
the
couldn't be more
ground and
excited.
go
Yeah, I
up
think
the
I'm pretty pleased with
columns.
this. I'm quite pleased with the effect I've got on some of the glow there as well. I think the dry brushing
Are you
I've achieved on
taking
this.
credit for all this work?
Yeah, I just made this. You all saw it.
Lovely.
I see. I
Nice.
see.
So this is on its way later in the year. It will come behind all.
But
of
it's
the
not
other starter
ready
products that we
yet.
just talked about, and so you're looking more towards the autumn time or beyond, right?
Yeah, and in terms of
Autumn,
price,
so,
this one comes
after
in. It has
September.
twice as much terrain as the Combat Patrol Battlefield, and it comes in at a little bit more than the cost of 2 Combat Patrols.
There you go. So,
Right, a little bit
yeah,
more than the
really
cost of
exciting.
2 combat patrols, so you're looking at
Okay, so,
£220
we've talked about all of the start sets, we've talked
for
about
your
all of the
full
terrain,
battlefield.
The ready paint terrain, very exciting. I guess we should talk a little bit about the things that are coming along
My
with the
goodness.
first Codex of
Yeah,
11th
we should
edition.
probably do that.
So it's time to look at some orcs.
I'm sure they don't know the difference between incursion and strike force because they keep
Get yourself a
getting them
truck.
mixed up.
I got soldier trucks.
Right, have we got a kill team?
Big trucks, bigger trucks, the best trucks.
Trucks.
They got all the gubbins and guns.
Trucks are nice.
Grabbing claws, grabby bits,
Yeah, new trucks are good.
shooters, rockets, you
Nothing wrong with the
name it.
previous truck.
Remember, walking is for gits and grots. Go fast or go home.
Vehicles may explode when fired upon. Safety of transported boys is not guaranteed.
That was fun. It's a good time to be an orc this year, isn't it?
It is. They are getting absolutely
Very
spoiled.
good.
We can confirm today.
think
the
you should
first
definitely
Codex
make your
is
own terrain.
orcs, and alongside
Rather
the
than
Codex, there
paying
are a whole
200 and
bunch of
something
new
pound
miniatures. One of the
for a
most exciting
table's worth
miniatures
of
on its
terrain.
way is that new truck and that new mech, which are on their
Should we
way.
talk about the mech first?
Let's do the mech first. So,
A
orc
new
mechs,
regular
those of
mech.
you who know orcs will know these are the mechanics that basically put together all of the weird and wonderful creations that go into battle alongside your orcs. They are surprisingly good at
Orc
science.
boys with the
Yeah.
innate knowledge to just make awesome things out of scrap.
Gene-coded,
Pretty
innate,
standard
kind of inherited
orc
knowledge
guy.
in terms of how to make
They're a
things
very
like
cheap character.
teleporters and trucks and guns and
I
shooters.
wish I had
and-
those skills.
Yeah, I
I'd be
mean,
much
you know,
more
if you
useful
apply
around the
yourself, I'm
house.
sure you can do it. But yeah, this is a really cool miniature.
grabbing
it
hook
has
just so
a
you
kind of
can
really
have the model
thematic- he's
stand
got
out,
a kind
really.
of spanner clobber thing there. He's got his slugger. But the thing that
Yeah, I
he really
think the
does
truck
is kind of
bed maybe
bring
is
with
smaller.
him all of the awesome machines that make Orc Army so fun to play in Warhammer 40,000.
So with no further
Ooh,
ado, let's
new
talk about the
Chimera?
truck
I
then,
don't
which is
know.
maybe the star of that show.
In theory,
this is
like, the Chimera is a
new
very
orc
old
truck.
model.
It's an evolution of
As
the classic orc truck that you know and
is,
love. A little
say,
bit bigger,
the Rhino.
a few more options, and it's really just wonderful to look at. It comes with a variety of options. In terms of weapon mounts, you've got the big shooter, you've got the rocket launcher, you have options for a grabber claw
does
and a
look a bit
buzzsaw,
misaligned,
and all of
but
those can
okay.
be swapped in positions on the top so that you can build different configurations. Have some great variety as you're making your trucks.
Yeah, this is a phenomenally cool miniature. Like, the current truck is really cool, right?
Absolutely.
The truck that is in current Orc armies is a perfectly good vehicle, but it has...
Yeah, it's a
been with
perfectly
us for a
fine
long
one,
time
and the
now, right? Like,
truck
it's been
before that was
15
perfectly
years.
fine.
something like that. Yeah, it's been around for a while. This is
It's
a
the front
beautiful
wheels
reinvention of
are
it. The thing that really
pointing
makes
inwards.
this is the fact that you can build it in so many different ways. Where the pintle mount goes, where the close combat weapon goes, how the boys are positioned, what the driver
close
looks
combat
like.
weapon,
what goes on
massive
the-
buzzsaw, the close combat
Going
weapon.
around the corner because you can alter the
Yeah,
look of
I like
the
Yeah,
the
you
third
can kind of
edition
play
truck
with
with
where
the
the wheels
city
are, and I
flat
think
bed,
especially if you've
where,
gone for a really heavy
there's
sort
no
of evil
back
sons
rail.
or speed freak style army,
Yeah.
and you want to have a bit of variety in your force, this one kit with no changes at all from what comes in the box can be built.
So it's not like it's two
enough
different
times
kits,
that
it's
you
the
would
one
never
kit
need
and you
to
can
replicate
build it
what's
with
in
the front or not with the front.
So we've got a couple here on the desk. The one I'm most excited by
Good.
is the one with this awesome looking skull prow at the front. It just looks
5
so, like,
unbuilt
mean and
trucks.
orky.
Oh, well,
whole skull
get
motif
to
of
building
orcs
them.
is so iconic. Yeah, really fantastic. Now, what we
Yeah,
wanted to do,
it's
the
not a
reason we brought
Gorkamorka
these
truck.
along,
They're not bringing back
so I can
Gorkamorka, which was suddenly my
the
thought,
team
like,
members
oh,
can
maybe they
show
would.
you, if you've
Maybe
already
they'd
got some orc
consider
trucks
it.
in your collection, how nice they're going to look. Don't want to mangle the model.
heavy metal team will get you.
I know, right?
There's the old one in the middle.
So this
or
is how it
the
looks
current
with
one in the middle.
the classic truck in between. It's a really good look. I think
Yeah,
people are going to
if
be
you've
very
already
happy.
got some trucks in your army, you can absolutely keep them
think it'll just
alongside
work
these new
alongside
ones.
them.
I think there's something to be said.
I also
for an
don't
orc
like the
army,
lean.
a bit of a ramshackle.
But
look.
as another
you
thought,
could replace them completely, or if you want to have a mix,
what if you
that's
just got a
absolutely
3D
fine. But I think the
printed
new ones
resin
just
one?
bring. They just look great. They've got so many cool options.
Yeah, I agree.
They're gonna
that'd
look
be fine.
Nice. So,
Any chance we'll get a
that's
road
couple of
map? I very
fantastic
much
brand new
doubt
kits
it.
coming for the orc.
I doubt we'd
There's
even
more
get
on the way
which
that
is the
people
first
might be able
3
to learn
codexes.
about through,
But we know that
the
Space
progress
Marines
of
and
the
Orcs will
Death
come
Knight.
first and second.
Yeah, that's right. So there's lots of orc stuff still to come. Some of the stuff we're showing you
know
today,
that
some
war
of it
bikes are coming.
will be revealed potentially if the orcs do well in the Siege of Deathmire campaign.
Yeah, they're
that's
not going
currently
to show
running.
off
So if
everything,
you wanna
so they're
see
going to
some
hold
more
back
orcs,
at least
play some
3
games, send in your results,
things.
and you might get to
Because
see
they're
some more
doing
very,
this
very soon.
global
There are a few
campaign
other
about
boxes to talk
Deathmire,
today, though. We've got the other
and
stuff
so
from
if the
Armageddon.
orcs win the
that's right.
first stage, they
So,
show off an orc unit. that's
Essentially, if you wanted to pick up some of the things from Armageddon or duplicate them, we're going to be releasing the Dakar rig separately, the War Track separately, and the Weird Boy
Right,
separately.
so now you
and
know
also
the
other
Dakar rig,
sort
the
of
War
commands.
Track, and the
Why
Weird
not?
Boy
Sure, why
are
not?
exactly
So
the same
banner
as the
knob,
ones that come in the
big
main
boss,
set,
and the
whereas
Pain
the
Boy
War
will be
Boss
released
and
in
the
a
Orc
command preset
Boys
as well.
will be
There's a whole
different.
bunch of extra stuff to come. We should probably
I
talk a
think
bit
there's
about the
very
Codex
little
itself,
chance of
though.
Gene Stealer cover stuff today.
Obviously, this is the first Codex of 11th edition, and it heralds something really exciting
All right,
in
so
terms
what's
of
the
a
Codex?
format change for Warhammer 40,000
Tell me the
Codexes.
format change.
So here you can see it's contained in a slipcase, and
It's
we've
in
got one
2
live
bits.
in front of you. So
Oh, not
it's
2
a
bits.
perfect bound book, slightly smaller than the Codexes in terms of the height,
All right.
but it is really thick and is packed with an incredible amount of orky content.
178 pages it is.
Perfect. And the first thing that I would like to just eulogize on
Okay.
is how incredible the lore section for this is. We are talking a really thick lore section, which is
Okay.
everything you would want to know
A
about
lot
the
of
orcs
lore,
and how they operate.
right.
It's got a gatefold map. You can see it here, which is the orky perspective on the galaxy, all the places that the orcs are fighting, all the different wars that are taking
That's
place.
not
But there's a
something
lot
that's
more to it
new.
than
We've
that.
seen that
It talks
before.
about the orcs, where they come from, how they fight, their culture.
No,
the
it's not a
different clan
hardback
structures.
codex. It's softback in a
Literally the
slipcase.
most complete guide on orcs you could hope for, and perhaps
it's probably
going
gonna
to
be cheaper to
information
make.
on orcs there's ever been in one place. Every unit
That's some
gets
big
its own
full
Codex
color
section.
artwork, and these are not A4.
Information
They're
on glyphs, information on like,
Well,
what
it's bigger than
clan icons and
A5.
things like it's really great. But also, some people might be interested in the rules.
Yeah, so one of the
Yeah,
big
I'm not a
changes
big fan of the
to
paperback
rules in this codex versus the
codexes.
previous ones
I
was
agree
in the
in
last
many senses.
edition there was quite a lot of rules in your codex, but quite a lot of them you couldn't use in all the different
Yeah,
types
it's
of games.
smaller,
So if,
it's got more
some of them you
pages.
could only
Oh,
use
yeah,
in
the
15
page
games, for
count will go
example.
up because it's
all of the rules
smaller
in this
scale.
codex, and there are at least as many rules in this one as there were in the last one, you
Yeah.
can use in every type of game. One of the ways that manifests, you'll immediately
Anything
notice,
about Crusade?
is the amount of detachments that you get to play with.
a lot
there
of
are
detachments.
15 different orc detachments in this codex.
That's loads of ways to
15
do
Loads
it.
of different ways to put
detachments.
your army together, ranging from lots of different sizes in terms of detachment points. It gives you a huge variety.
Are any of
different
those
ways
new?
that you can potentially
Runt
put an army
Swarm?
together? Some of these
Were
you could probably
banned?
guess at the themes. There are like some fast ones, some stompy ones.
Yeah, the
some
Fly
all
Boys
of-
gives itself away, doesn't
Right,
it?
like so there's some ones you could probably guess at, but there'll be
Okay.
loads of brand new ways that you could put together an orc army.
lot of
that's
them we
just
know
never been
already.
possible before, and it gives you a sense
one
of
just called
what
Shooter Boys,
codexes
that's-
will feel like in the new edition, where they will bring this
that's probably
huge
gonna
variety
replace
of list building opportunities.
the more Dakar.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's more
Grunt
to
Swarm
it
could
than
be
just the
fun.
detachments. Obviously, the rules have been looked at by the Warhammer rules team, and they've come up with some things. This is the army special rule, essentially, isn't it?
Yeah, so war, right? You can't have war. You can't have an orc codex without a war. The war rule has changed a little bit, so there'll be some things that
Right,
are familiar.
what's it
There's some
do?
slight changes. It still allows you to
Reroll advanced
run
rolls.
and charge, but it now lets you re-roll that run as well. It also lets you have assault on all of your weapons, which is a thing it didn't used to do. So that means that
Okay.
you've gone for a very shooty army, so like speed
Advance
freaks,
and
you can
charge
do,
is
like,
still
bikes and
there.
buggies and things.
Yeah,
So we get a 5 up save.
Yeah, that's
whatever.
immediately really useful.
How long does it
and
last?
It also gives you the riled up ability, which triggers all sorts of things across all the sorts of different bits of the codex, where other units will become more powerful, and you still get.
Or is that just
invulnerable
generally you
save.
reroll
It's a
advanced
really
rolls
great-
generally?
It's a really, really good rule. For one turn of the game, you'll have a great turn every single
They're
day.
saying one
Yeah, and then
turn,
all
not
of the
one
units
battle
within
round.
the codex have had their data sheets looked at. So here's the truck that we just showed you before, and you can see what's gone on with it. So you can see the different weapon options and things to give you a sense of what it means for your codex, I suppose.
Yeah, so what you'd expect, it still kind of has a similar-ish stat line to what the truck does at the moment. It is a kind of medium-sized vehicle. The things that you'll
Medium,
notice
it's
are it has more
relatively
weapon
light
options
vehicle.
than it used to. So you've got options there for different combat weapons, different shooting weapons.
And piling out is quite a nice
Yeah,
thing, isn't
you've got a really cool little mechanic where if an enemy unit gets nearby, something like a unit of fire dragons or eliminators or something.
Fire
just
dragons.
ready to kind
Okay,
of-
so it's
ready-
very
sorry,
similar
ready
to
kill
what
your
the
truck. You can pile
World
the
Eaters
boys
Rhino.
out, ready to kind of countercharge or
Jump
to avoid
out.
being caught in the explosion or something like that. It's a really useful little rule that's got some quite
Yeah,
neat little
disembark.
tactical plays you can do with it.
And if you
so I
could
think trucks are gonna be very
surge,
useful.
then maybe
Yeah,
surge.
perfect.
This is why it
And
works
then
better
in
with the
terms
World
of other
Eaters.
data sheets been looked at, it'd be worth looking at the Orc Boys, who really have had something of a stat line glow up. It's fair to say.
Yeah, there's a lot going on this data sheet, and I think I would recommend.
Okay,
if you've
what do the
got
Orc
Army, take
boys
a screenshot.
got?
There's
Yeah,
cool stuff
now
there.
is the moment to record
Is it
this.
the combi
The
weapons?
first thing you'll notice is there's loads of weapon options. So one of the things we got asked a lot about the Armageddon box was, is that all the options
Big
that the orcs will
shooter,
have in the new
rockets.
edition? It absolutely isn't. You've got
Yeah, two
loads of
combi
different
thi-
choices.
It's just got all the
more than
things
you've
you'd
had
expect.
recent.
More than I think you've ever
There's
had
your big
for an orc
chopper.
unit. You've
Power
got some
claw.
classic stuff returning, so you've got
Custom
a burner back in
chopper.
this
Big
unit
fan
now,
of not having rolled to hit.
which is pretty cool. You've got loads of different options for your
I'm
boss's
assuming
weapon.
custom chopper is for the knob.
And the thing I want to draw your attention to is almost kind of tucked away right at the bottom of that stat line there is the strength of a basic orc boy
Yeah, that-
is now
knob has 3
5.
wounds.
And that is
Sorry, what was that?
That is an across the Codex update. to
Strength
your
of the
orcs.
Orc
Every
boy's
single
chopper
orc
is just
at least
5
strength
now.
5 all of the time now. So
Because
that
the
goes
WAR
for
didn't
boys, it also
increase your
goes for
strength.
Your kind of beast snaggers and all of the things like
Oh,
your knobs
my
and bull
goodness.
bosses and everything get a commensurate increase as well. So your already pretty scary orcs get even scarier
there
all the
burners
time in
back?
close combat.
Custom
Fantastic.
shooter,
I think,
shooter
it
slugger.
just
Oh yeah,
looks
burner.
like
Second
a
one.
load of great information.
the top.
I'm really
Burner's
excited
I'm
about
gonna have a
this
great
Codex.
time with this.
Very
Codex. I'm gonna have a
good.
really
Good spot.
And it heralds something really interesting. The last thing to talk about with the Codex is, obviously, in the back of it, it includes the code that you will put into your Warhammer 40,000 app
Oh,
to
oh,
unlock
the app.
and access the rules.
The app.
It does something else on top of that. This is kind of like your passport to ongoing content for your Warhammer 40,000 Orc Codex
Oh, no.
throughout its lifespan. There will be regular drops of lore and rules so that you can continue to get great stuff out of your Codex as
Right.
the time continues. They've given us a sneak peek into some of the stuff that's coming, and it sounds both
Yep,
really
there's
cool
the app
and
stuff.
really thematic. So I'm quite excited to see what happens with that. And then I imagine all the other codexes.
Yep, absolutely.
Perfect. So yeah, the
Balanced
first
data
codex
slate
coming down
unless-
the pipe,
yeah, no
Warhammer
balance
Plus,
unless you
Warhammer
want the app.
40,000 Orcs, and it looks amazing.
Do stick around. We have more Warhammer 40,000 for you later in the preview.
Yes,
never
we'll be
seen anyone
returning
hack
into
it,
the
or,
41st
like,
millennium
in any good way.
later on in the show.
There was someone
For
who
now,
tried
though,
to
we're going to
get
segue
it
into
so
something
you
which
can
is quite
have, like,
interesting.
you
We've
can
talked a
make
lot
all your
about
army lists, but
ways
by
to get
rolling it
people
back to
who
a
are
previous
new
version.
to Warhammer started with Warhammer 40,000. So let's talk for
But
a little
yes,
bit
the book
about
is
the
now
Warhammer
live service.
Academy.
And there'll be more lore coming in that. These are just people and trees. I think we'll be fine with Warpedia, to be honest. Warhammer Academy. Yeah, I'm hoping it isn't we'll teach you Warhammer.
Wise wizard beneath the mountain. We are in search of enlightenment. Long and difficult has been our journey, and many things are still hidden from us.
It could
Tell
do
me
grotmas like that,
what
yeah.
you seek.
What is the difference between the Black Rage and the Red Thirst?
How do you get decals to lay smoothly on a Space Marine's shoulder?
Yeah.
And how exactly do you use command points?
Ah! So you seek to learn the ways of Warhammer.
Okay. Wow, it's what is it? I'm hoping it's not paid teaching services.
So, Wise Wizard Beneath the Mountain. What is the Warhammer Academy?
I'm so glad you asked, Eddie. Warhammer Academy is a really exciting thing that we've been working on behind the scenes here at Games Workshop for a while now, and is the perfect way to answer the question, how do I get started with Warhammer? The idea is that people can
You
come
watch
to this
me.
website, which is free to
Or
use,
you watch other
and they
people.
can get guided first steps on how to begin exploring Warhammer. So there's going to be at launch, like,
I mean, my
well
course is
over
a
100
one-off
videos,
for 20 quid,
of
and I'll
which are all
solve like
video
a problem.
lessons
I'll
that deal
talk it through a
with,
list with
the
you.
lore and collecting,
And it takes like
with
half an hour
painting
to an
and
hour.
modeling, and with gaming to get you on your first steps. I'm out of breath. I have to throw this costume on to get you started on your sort of first steps through Warhammer.
You shouldn't need a
when the
training
website launches,
course
it will focus
to
on Warhammer
learn the
40,000 to
rules.
coincide alongside
You
all of
should
these new starter
release
products so
good
that people
rules
can,
the
like,
first
experience
time
Warhammer
round.
for the first time and go through sort of learning all about the universe and what the factions and the armies are, and really going on that same journey that we've all been when we've been able to sit down with somebody and told us all about what Warhammer is. And then the painting team have put together these amazing videos that start really basic and then go all the way through to some really great techniques that will have your army looking fantastic. And then the gaming side takes it from the assumption you've never played a game of Warhammer before and takes you all the way through to playing your first games of Combat Control, which we played and had a lot of fun with.
They're doing
so
a
you should be able
hustle
to have
thing.
a
Like,
wonderful
oh
experience.
dear,
If
our
you are
game is so
completely new
badly
to
written
Warhammer
that
or
you
there's
need to have a
somebody in
paid
your life
thing
that
to
wants
learn
get
the
started,
game.
This is a wonderful thing to point them
I
towards.
think
when
a
we launch
lot
it,
of the people that
and,
partner
they'll
with
be
Games
able to
Workshop
take
are
their
going to
first
be
steps.
very
If you wanna
upset
sharpen
by
your own
this.
skills, we talk about as we were working on the academy, the idea that you can build your skills, your confidence, and your experience. You get the most out of this wonderful Warhammer hobby that we all enjoy. And so the whole purpose of this academy, which is free to use, is to just get on board and sharpen those skills and your confidence.
Oh
and have a great
dear.
Sounds wonderful.
Nice. And the releases alongside those Warhammer 40,000 starter sets that we talked about previously. So not long now, a month or so, and then you'll be able to
Wow,
see
that
Warhammer
app is
Academy for yourself.
very heavily moderated today.
Perfect. I'm really excited. Right. Now I'm going to get out of this costume, and while we do, let's travel to the old world.
Okay. So old world is big thing? It's gonna be chaos stuff. 2 plastic armies, is it like a new starter set? Yeah, you gotta do Cathay, of course. Does it give them a takedown lever over instruction and training videos? I wouldn't have thought so. There's a 2-headed dragon sorcerer lord? Looked like there was 2
Welcome
chaos
back.
dragon lords.
I've returned to normal, and we are now thrilled by some news for Warhammer the Old World. That was a great looking box of miniatures. There's a lot to talk about. We've got some of the models here to get
That
close
looks
up
fine
on
and
in a
fun.
little while. For now, let's dive into that new 2-player box for Warhammer the Old World. This features 2 armies going head to head. You have the army of Grand Cathay going up against the Chaos Warriors. So within it, you will see. In a
Alright,
moment,
so Grand
the
Cathay's got a
Cathay force.
cannon.
This is Grand Cathay.
A lot of
They're
infantry.
fairly recent addition
Yeah, they're
to
quite new
Warhammer the
miniatures,
Old
aren't
World.
they?
Cavalry.
And this is an army you'll
Yeah,
have
it's a lot
already
of the
seen
new
before.
stuff,
So you've got
newer
the Jade
stuff.
Warriors, you've got the Jade Lancers, units that you'll be familiar with.
So a brand new
and they're
Chaos
taking a
Warriors
big
with very
part
big
in the
horns.
sort of
I'm not a
ongoing struggles
massive
in the old
fan of
world at
those
the moment.
horns,
They've
but they're
dispatched
okay.
an enormous force to aid
So there's
in
more
against the
Chaos
invasion
Warriors.
that's taken place.
Not for Age of
It's a beautiful
Sigmar,
army.
of course.
You've seen it before.
More
The
Chaos Knights.
showstopper for this new box is the wonderful new range of all plastic Warriors of
Banner
Chaos.
Bearer. Got a
which
pretty
you'll find in the
standard
other
Chaos
half of this
Lord
box set.
with the
Someone
axe in
just
that
tipped
pose.
15, I'd rather
Yeah,
give
this
you
is an
£15
amazing
to round
update
off the
to
month.
your Warhammer
The
Old
money
World
is
Warriors
better
of Chaos.
spent that way.
Warriors of Chaos,
Thank you
of course,
very
one of the
much.
archetypal villains, one of
That's
the
very
archetypal
kind of you,
visuals,
anonymous
really,
person.
of Warhammer the Old World. This is a really cool army. All the bits in this are
But yeah, I do.
multi-part, and these
If
are
you go
all
to the
brand
link in the
new
description,
customers.
where is it?
So
the
the Chaos
Ko-fi
Warriors are
link.
kind of the mainstay of the
Then
Warriors of Chaos
you can
Army.
book a one-to-one coaching
These
session
are
with me, and I will
elite,
talk
heavy
through a
infantry, the
Sisters
best
Death
armour
Watch
that you can
Gene
get
Steel
in
occult
Warhammer the
problem
Old
that you're
World,
having.
and they
Talk
strive
through an
for
army
the
list, get you
ranks
ready
of
for an event.
hard-to-kill warriors, and they will
Advise
feel
you on
punishment
how
when
to
they get
build
there.
and paint an
Of course,
army, whatever
they
you
are
want.
part of this new
And it's like
force,
20
the other
quid.
part, and perhaps the most iconic
Very
of
easy
the
to do.
Warriors of Chaos units are the Chaos Knights. These are
You don't need a
super
whole
elite
Warhammer
heavy
training
cavalry.
course.
Inside this new box, you get 4 Chaos Knights. It's a classic size if you remember days of yore.
Old
Going back
World
in
minis
time,
can
a
be
long
used
way
for
now,
Age of
when
Sigmar
Chaos
through the
Knights
base
used to often
adapters.
feature in units of
Yeah,
four. So you
I don't know
have,
if there's many
what you'd expect, a champion
square
in
to
addition to the
circular
standard bearer, and
ones.
then an additional knight. They
mean,
can be
circle-
swapped out with the lances that you see here in the picture.
And
So
you could
do
add
big
into the
in-
unit, obviously.
There are
Yeah,
some.
absolutely.
There are occasionally
you get
some.
4 in the box,
But now that
you'll be
the
able to
base
get more
sizes
as
are
time
bigger,
goes
the
on.
square
So
bases
if
are
you want to
bigger,
build bigger
and it
units
doesn't
of
work
Chaos
so
Knights, you
well
certainly will be
on
able to.
like the
Chaos Knights are some
smaller
of the
circular
hardest
bases.
hitting and most dangerous cavalry units in all of Warhammer.
They're also just like the
Warhammer
almost
Academy
the
is
archetypal heavy cavalry.
online
Like,
beginner
when you build an
tutorials.
army for Warhammer the Old World, you're like,
that's fine,
well,
that's
I can
fine.
take a charge, but could I take a charge from Chaos Knights?
Probably
Where do you find
the
events?
absolute pinnacle
You
of
have
the
a
hardest
local
hitting
store
unit.
tell you about
so
them,
lots of
or
people
you
very keen to include this unit in their army.
ask
If you've
around
got
or
a Chaos
Google
Force,
it.
so almost never see a Chaos army without a unit of Chaos Knights. They're just so effective.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the force
If you're
is led
interested
by,
in getting help,
some champions of
then,
Chaos. You have one on foot,
send
one
me a
on
message
horse.
on Discord.
This one here you can see is modelled as a battle standard bearer. The kit contains contains
Or if you
enough
pay through the app,
options
I think
that you
it
can swap
pay through
around
the
things.
link.
So,
It also
in the
gives you a
moment, as
link
you
to
see
the
screen
Discord.
progress, you'll see some of the things you can do. It
Do you
also
want a
has
circle base
chaos,
first, then it's easy to turn
champion
circles
on
to
a
squares.
demonic
Yeah,
mount.
that's what I was
This
thinking.
is my favourite model in the set. It is beautiful and it's a really iconic image of
I think it looks like the artwork of Chaos Warriors from some of those
If
old
Warhammer Academy
Fantasy,
is just a
army books,
convenient way of
and the
putting a
miniatures have
load of
finally got to the point
content,
where
stuff
can
they already have
capture,
in a place,
like, the thing
and
that
saying,
you sort
hey,
of
this is
imagined that Chaos Warriors what you wanted
re-advertise
them
it
to look like
as a place
all
you
those
can
years
go.
ago. It's just such a cool
That'll
kit.
work.
I love the standard bearer as well. I think this champion kit is
I
one
think
of the
the
best. sort
Chaos
of
Lord on the
hero
horse
kits
is
that Warhammer's
perfectly
yet
fine.
released.
Yeah, I don't have a Chaos
Yeah, that
Army,
definitely looks
Warhammer
like
in there.
older
I would
artwork.
really like to get my hands on that
Ooh,
model. I
what
think
was it?
it
7th
works beautifully.
edition's
So,
army book
let's
cover?
talk for a little bit about that box. It's a 2-player core box for Warhammer: The Old World. It's essentially what you need to start
didn't think they
playing
were doing
Warhammer:
these
The Old World
versus
if you
boxes
haven't before.
anymore.
It's an enormous box. It contains the armies. It also contains the rulebook and
Okay,
a
rulebook.
muster list. The
Current
rulebook is the
rulebook.
same rules as you currently use
Yeah.
for Warhammer: The Old World. So if you're sat there
Current rules.
worrying that this
So
is
it's
gonna
not a
change
new
the rules
edition.
you're playing with, it won't. The
They haven't
difference
changed the
really with
rules.
this rulebook
They're
and
just
the
doing a
rulebook you
launch
already
box,
have, if you're
which
already playing The Old
arguably
World,
is what they
is
should have
that
done
the
for
erratas and
40k.
things that exist online
Here's a new
are
starter set.
woven into this.
Here's a
So,
new big
that
versus
should make
box
life
with a
a
load
little
of
bit
new
easier.
Just this book, you don't need
upsculpted
to worry about
models.
any other documents.
Otherwise, you
Exactly.
keep using
And
10th
then,
edition. Because
further to
10th edition
that,
is
it has an
doing
additional
fine.
section called Battle
And since you
March.
have to make
Talk
11th
more
edition
about that
compatible with
in
10th
the
I
edition,
saw another miniature.
a
when we
10.5
showed up.
would have
Yeah,
been
we'll
better.
just
So
talk about
it's
the
not
muster
new
list before we go.
edition,
Muster
just
list is the rules
stuff.
for the models that are in the box. There you go. This is how to play Warhammer all in one handy box.
They
and
need
it's
to
very
stop
exciting
spinning
and
or
continues
spin
the
slower.
thing that we know and love. Now,
Let's talk dragons, Adam.
yeah, let's talk dragons. We're all very excited.
How long
might
ago
be
did
my
they do a
favourite thing in
versus
the
box
entire
at
preview.
40k?
It is such a show-stopping model. This is the Warriors of Chaos.
Can't remember the
Lord
last
on
one.
Chaos Dragon.
I don't think
and
there was
there's so
one
much to talk about.
10th
Eddie,
You
edition.
just get the sense of the size of it just from that shot where it was already taller than the 3-story building
Yeah,
that
no
are behind
kidding.
it. It is an
Two-headed
absolutely
dragon, Chaos
enormous,
dragon.
phenomenally cool miniature.
Did I say
of Warhammer
two-headed
the Old World.
dragon?
I think probably the biggest monster we've
Old
had
world
released
thing with
yet.
two
It's gotta
heads,
be
at
right
least
up
2
there,
dragons
and
fit
there
that
have been
build,
some
giants and
fantastic
trolls.
kits,
That's what I
since
said.
Warhammer the Old World launched. There's things to talk about. The first, I want to just wax lyrical on how cool
So,
Chaos Dragons
it's a
are.
Chaos
We've seen
Dragon,
this
as
image
expected.
before of Chaos Dragons with 2 heads.
Yes, Armageddon is the
There
versus
used to
box.
be
So like
a
they could have just released that
special
and
character Chaos
Yeah, you had
Dragon.
Not had a new
Garrett,
edition
the,
tied
the
to it.
Chaos Dragon, which was the kind of one that had eaten the Lord of Change, and then before that you had Von Horstmann,
That's right,
who
yeah.
was the
Grim
the
Van
former
Horstmann. I have that
College of
model.
Magic
It's
in the
cool,
Empire
but it's metal,
character
so
who
it's
was on a
unfortunate,
two-headed
but it's
Tzeentchian
cool.
dragon. But that's a long time ago. We've never had a plastic version. of
Every
it.
faction
Plastic
gets a
two-headed
dragon.
Chaos Dragon
I
has
think
been a
we'll be
long
getting
time
into,
coming, and I think
like,
even though we
flyer
waited
territory.
decades for it, this is worth the wait. This
Yeah,
is a
absolutely.
really cool model.
It's also what we
Where
sometimes
you
call
have,
a two-for kit, in
um,
that you can make a different option with it. So you've seen the Chaos Lord. This is a Sorcerer Lord.
something
and there's some
new,
differences. The
and
first is
everyone gets
Divider,
one, and then
obviously.
they
He's
try
a
and figure out how to
Huntsman
make it
Wizard Chaos
work for
Sorcerer,
edition
which
after
is
edition.
a powerful unit in its own right. It can be up to a level 4 wizard. He's not bad in a fight. He's backed up by a 2-headed Chaos Dragon. Everything you would.
Yeah,
want
you're not going to
enjoy.
kill
So
him
Grim
with a
Van
light cavalry
Horstmann
unit.
No, no,
was
absolutely
both like a
not.
Chaos Lord
Additionally,
and a
there's
very
some
powerful
slight
sorcerer.
differences with the dragon itself.
With a special
You'll notice
skull.
This one has sort of different frills.
Rat
and things.
Dragon, well, you've got
so
your
if you
monstrous
want-
creatures already for like the
you can have
Skaven,
riders on them,
and you've got a
then look at it
Wyvern for the
different, and then
Orcs.
with a little bit of sort of paint magic, what you've got is 2 very striking, different-looking Chaos Dragons in your army. Very exciting centerpiece model.
It does look good.
Images that
Does
the
look
video
good.
team have put together here capture its majesty. It's possibly even better in the flesh.
Eldar
We have it
Dragon
on the
would
desk
herald
here,
Exodites coming.
So you can see it looming over some of these new Chaos Warrior models.
Yeah, one of the things we haven't mentioned as well is just next to the Chaos Dragon, just below it here, whichever one you don't build. So if you build the Chaos Lord on the dragon, you get a Chaos Sorcerer Lord on foot, and if you build
Oh,
the
good.
Sorcerer
They're
Lord
still
on the
doing
dragon,
that.
you get a Chaos Lord
I
on
thought
foot.
that Games
So
Workshop was
whatever
well
way you
past
build
doing the
this, you
mounted
get
character, but you
basically
also
two
get a
very
So
foot
this is the
character
Sorcerer Lord
as
that you
well.
would get if you build it with the Chaos Lord.
Because they haven't done that
and
for
this
a
is
while,
the
but
Chaos
at
Lord
least
on
they
foot if you
do
build it with the Sorcerer.
for the Age of
So
Sigmar, for
always
Old World stuff.
Heavy metal model live on video.
Nice.
Really a great kit.
Yeah,
You can see
Angry
all the other things
Cabbage
in
for
front
the
of
Orcs
it.
Size of it
is
as well.
for
I
Age
mean,
of
these
Sigmar.
are big models, right? The Chaos Knights are not small cavalry models, and this is about 4 times. So it's
Angel
a big
Dragon?
old beast. And
Big
also
angel
just
creature?
phenomenally good in the game as well, right? Like a Chaos Lord on a 2-headed Chaos Dragon is up there with the very best units in all of Warhammer Warhammer the Old World. There's almost nothing that can go toe-to-toe.
I just want to, before we move on from Chaos Warriors, have a look at the back of the Chaos Champion.
Okay, why do we need to look at the back of the Chaos
He's got,
Champion?
like, fur under his saddle. He's got heads hanging from chains. Like, the detail on these models is just wild.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
one
that's a
the
lot
things
of
worth
detail
calling
for a
out
character
actually
model,
about
as it
these
should
Chaos
be.
Warriors
I'm
particularly
hoping
is
that the
these are
regular Chaos Warriors
designed for Warhammer
don't
the
have
Old
that
World, so
level
they're
of
meant to look
detail.
like the logical extension of the kind of Marauder
Absolutely.
archetype.
They're very
So-
much sort of the
Thank
sort
you
of
for
chaos
subscribing.
armored
Yeah.
barbarians from the
But
north.
there's still a little bit of that kind of
Oh
like
yeah, the new
barbarian
guard
raider
character had a
vibe to them.
foot
They've
and
got
mounted
the look
version.
of
I
someone who's
suppose
kind
so.
of walked
I
out of
suppose
the
you're
Arctic
right.
north of the Warhammer world, so that
Just
they
about to ransack the old world.
absolutely yeah.
Yeah, gotta love it. Right. Obviously, alongside the new core box, people might want to get their hands on some other things that would be useful. So here you can see common magic items and laws of magic. These are cards which enable you
Alright,
to
so it's stuff from the
do quick
core
reference
book,
as
but
you're
it
playing your
spins
games.
and it's in a
Can be very
card pack.
useful. They're
That's not
required,
necessary.
obviously, the rules
There are
will be inside the
websites
book.
you can
There's
print
also
your own.
another thing that we said we would talk about a little bit. This is Battle March, the General's Companion. Now, Battle March is a new way to play games of Warhammer the Old World.
Okay.
The way this works is that you build smaller forces, not unlike Spearhead or Combat Patrol, between 400 and 700 points, and then you unleash
Nice.
them in games that are quicker to play and more straightforward. There's some rules in this companion
I like
which
that.
Sort of detail.
I'll
how
play
you
that
use
size
the rules.
game.
So there's some limitations on what you can and can't take, and some requirements, and then there's different scenarios to play. The rules for
I'm
Battle
hoping there's
March
more than
are in
like
the new
3.
rulebook, and there's those rules and more information and more scenarios and ways to play are found inside this Battle March General's Companion. So whichever one you want to take as your option in, you can start playing, I don't know, like lunchtime leagues or maybe like a campaign across a weekend of like
Okay,
quick
good.
turnaround games.
We're bringing
Or if
back
you've
the
just
small
started
game
an army for
modes.
the first time and you maybe haven't got enough to play a full-size game, you can
Yeah,
still
absolutely.
play with a smaller force.
Yes. Now, to help you with that, they are releasing the first of our Battle
spinning.
March armies. So this is the Warriors of Chaos and Grand Cathay Battle March armies, and they contain a variety of units.
Right, so
designed
it sounds
to be
like
a
Combat
good
Patrol,
Battle
where it's
March
between
experience.
400 and 700
You
points.
could totally add these,
But it
to
might
the
be
new
fixed,
box, and then you have
sets.
Nice big armies if you wanted to
Yeah,
play
we,
like
Rather
we were
than
talking
any
about if you
400
add
to
either of these
700
boxes
point
onto
armies.
your the new sets coming out with the Warriors of Chaos and the Army of Grand Cathay, and then you add something like a monster like a two-headed dragon,
Yeah, or a
you
Cathayan dragon.
or a
Take
Cathayan dragon,
100
you've pretty
goblins
much
or
got an
Skaven
army
slaves.
ready to go.
Yeah,
These are
I mean,
really
they're
lovely
fun to
places to
cut through
start
with
a
that
force,
size,
or
for sure.
just a really good way to bolt on loads of troops onto an army.
Yeah, absolutely. There's also more
Age of
coming for the old
Sigmar
world.
Kill
This is
Team.
the
Yeah,
Arcane
that's
Journal, the March of
like
Chaos.
Sand and Bone,
This
Spearhead.
continues the narrative.
No,
that
that's
we're
not Kill
seeing
Team.
unfold
Warcry
in the
was
old
their
world
Kill
at the
Team.
moment. The Chainbreaker, this Chaos Lord, is descending from the north.
So it's like
with an enormous
Arcane
throng.
Journal.
They're plowing
So is
through
that
the
a
northern
campaign
provinces of the
thing?
Empire.
Or
Even
is
the
that like an
forces of Grand
extend, like
Cathay
a
being called in,
essentially
volunteers themselves to
detachment,
come in and try and
a
stave off this
sub-faction
invasion,
way to
and
play
it's a
Chaos
grim
Warriors?
affair. Magic is being fired around everywhere, so that card deck is for magic ploys, which the winds of magic are blowing so furiously that there's loads of different magic escapades and things to get on with. It's a really good time to be playing Warhammer Old World right now.
Yeah, I'm enjoying the
Okay.
narrative they're kind of weaving as well about all these different.
Yeah, I like
invasions
the
leading
idea
up
of
to
Battle
a big war.
March
Some would say a great
because I like the idea
no
of
kidding.
smaller
Oh,
size
that was
games.
good.
The whole
Deep
like
cut,
40k
your
and 40
Warhammer
minutes
history.
when they
So,
did it
Slight
in
segue.
40k,
It's not quite the old
where they
world, but
had
it's very similar. Let's talk
lots
about
of
Blood
rules
Bowl
for
for a
like
minute.
I think they might have called
Blood Bowl
it
is
something
the
like
game
Combat
of fantasy
Patrol.
football, and there is some really
Because
exciting
like
things
Combat
to show
Patrol was
with
the
release of
Warhammer
the
Fantasy
new Spike
version,
Journal. This is Spike
where it's
Journal
like you
22.
play 400
Blood
points,
Bowl
maybe 500
Sevens
points.
Is the theme.
You have to
Blood
have a
Bowl
hero,
Sevens, I
no
hear you ask.
lords.
Well, I'm
Blood
glad
Bowl
you did.
Sevens, Adam.
There you go, perfect.
I can't remember all the
Blood
rest
Bowl
of the
Sevens
stuff.
is essentially a
like
way
no
of playing Blood Bowl, which is akin
ward
to like
saves
rugby
better than
sevens
a
or
5+.
five-a-side football. So you're compacting your team, you're playing faster games on a smaller pitch. It's very frenetic. It really changes quite a lot of the tactics and the ways
yes,
that
I
you would
played
play,
Blood Bowl Sevens.
and makes for a entirely different and very fun experience.
So now it's just a
you
pack?
get 4 of your positionals in this game, so you've got quite a lot of skills and things on the tabletop, and it's just a lot of fun.
I mean, I'm watching this
excited
live
for
stream, but I'm
even
not
more
taking
excited
in
for
all
what
of
we're
the
about
stuff.
to show you, which is some
Like, that's a nice
fantastic new
idea.
Blood Bowl
I don't know if I'll
miniatures.
get that. Probably
The first
won't
of
get
which
that.
is a new big one available for several teams. This is the Rat Ogre.
I love this model. I think the thing that I most love about it
Rat
is
ogre?
if you look on
Yep.
his shoulder, he has a little rat with a piece of cheese and a flag on his tail.
That is beautiful, but is it better or as good as a
It's a
rat
fun
wearing
character.
a gas mask and carrying a lump of warp stone?
It's very close, and I think you'll have to make that decision for yourself.
Tiebreaker.
And in
Get
Combat Patrol
hold
to
of
Old
your own
World, you have
rat
no
ogre.
idea
You
why
could
people
make
play
it
Old
Rat
World in
Ogre
the first
without
place.
either of those rats,
Not
but-
everyone wants to do
When you could,
massive
if you wanted to,
battles
have a
of
rat on his
2,000 to
shoulder, you
3,000
could figure it out,
points.
The funny thing is,
does anyone want that?
This is also a great
do
model,
like
but if you're not taking
small
one
games
of,
of
the
Old
rats,
World.
I think you've got
Just
math.
harder
This
to
is
make them
available
work
for a
because it
number
is a
of
rank
teams.
and flank game.
Obviously,
So you
can
put your
use it
3
in
units in
Skaven
front of your enemies
the
3
Underworld
units,
Denizens,
and
the Chaos Renegade
you
team.
need something to
If you
fight
want
over.
some real
So
muscle
they
to
have
go
been
in there
adding
and just
objective
clobber the enemy,
markers.
break the enemy line so that you're team can run through.
You've got some mutation options in there as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I did think rat ogres already existed in Blood Bowl, but
this
here
is a
we are.
Minotaur.
Or Minotaur.
Yeah, absolutely. This is another one of those iconic, heavy-hitting Blood Bowl units, and it's again available for a variety of Blood Bowl teams. You can use it in the Chaos Chosen, you can use it in the Chaos Dwarf list, you can
Chaos
use it in the
teams,
Chaos Renegade teams. And here you can see the different.
So what?
ways
Chaos
you can build it
Warriors,
to
Chaos
fit more in
Dwarves.
with the teams that you're used to using.
Yeah, so this
Beast
one here
of Chaos,
on
I
the screen at the
assume.
moment, rather than hands or even hooves, has got kind of scorpion
Yeah,
claws.
why catch the ball, right?
Yeah, he's not going to do much catching, but he might do even better clobbering.
I would have hands
Yeah, no kidding.
rather
Now,
than claws.
those
but
are
yeah.
wonderful. The thing I'm most excited about, not just for this Blood Bowl reveal, but maybe in all of Blood Bowl, is our next reveal.
He is your favourite, Adam.
Morgenthau is my favourite thing about Blood Bowl. I absolutely love him. He's been an iconic character.
Oh,
like,
yes.
right from
This
the
is the
start.
guy that was on like the
there is a
very
new
on the
multi-part
cover,
plastic Morgenthau
the
model
poster
coming,
of
and he is
Blood Bowl.
Wonderful. The kit
Back in the day,
which is
back in the
making one of
90s.
3 very iconic designs here. You can see the Reichland Reavers one, which really sort of connects to that iconic artwork that we're used to seeing with Morg.
That
Here is another
iconic
version.
artwork.
This is him in his gouged eye motif when he played for an Orc team, and you can see like the Orc charms and things around his neck. This is for the Chaos All-Stars.
There's a lot of
when he
different
played with
ways
that,
to build
team.
him
That
by
was
the
his
sounds of
first
it.
ever team. You see, he's still got hair.
And you can see he's also got each of the Chaos Gods icons on his little chain around his neck as well, which is really cool.
That's
I
nice.
absolutely love it.
Different
If
Chaos
you
Gods
are
icons.
unfamiliar with Blood Bowl or Morg in particular, let me just tell you, he is genuinely one of the best.
Adam, can you take him in a halfling team?
You can, and I have used him to lead my halflings to almost glory a number of times.
Yeah.
I love him.
Interesting.
He's so good. He hits like a freight train. He's really heavily armed.
One of
He's got
those,
great
like,
skills,
all-star
mighty
players
blow,
you can put
loads
in a lot of
armor,
different
everything you could possibly want.
teams.
And he costs a load of points. Halflings are really cheap. So
Can he throw halflings?
Star
He can throw a
players.
halfling. In fact, my halfling, my favourite halfling, Captain Colin Head, scored many a touchdown and nearly died. He would be lobbed down the pitch. I could talk about Morg for far too long. He's coming soon. I'm very excited. Please let me have one. Let's look at the models. Okay.
I gave you all the Morgs.
There we go. These are the beautiful heavy metal painted Morg models, and here you can see what they look like.
Yes, I can see why this is going to take an hour and a
side
half.
onwards. This is Morg.
But in
We've
theory,
got him
we
in that
should
sort
be
of
halfway
gouged
through.
eye look, and you see his armor looks like the sort of armor that Black Orcs wear.
Yeah, so you get different armor, different head, different chest plates. You've got a bunch of different options.
Yeah, and then this
Okay,
is Morg
that's
with the
nice
Reavers
if you like.
uniform, and then
Oh, I've been
I think
following
the
this
first edition
character
of Blood Bowl?
yeah.
through many, many
I think it's
decades.
appeared on
I
a
can
couple of
build them in
covers.
their
And then,
Chaos
then,
version or
if
their
you want
Orc
to do this
version or
Chaos
their
All-Stars,
Imperial
use this one.
Empire
but ultimately,
version.
build your Morg how you want and just go and clobber the enemy and score some touchdowns.
Blood Bowl is also
we
this
have the other models
old
on the table as well.
Warhammer
You
Fantasy
can see
offshoot
the Minotaur,
where they
Rat Ogre, and Minotaur.
compete in
These are all
wars.
holding
really good
power
shot
above
of
the
that.
Instead of
average lineman.
wars, it's a football
Yeah,
match.
That's the real star.
That's he's the star.
Perfect. So there we go. A good time for Blood Bowl. 3 amazing new big characters coming
Some
your
big
way.
characters.
A new way
If
to
they
play
were
Blood
sold
Bowl in the
separately and
Newsfight
for a
Journal.
decent
I'm very
price,
excited
it'd
about
be
this.
fine.
We are
But
nowhere near done with this preview.
Keep going.
Right. Why don't we go to the Age of Darkness?
some people like Blood Bowl. Some people are like, don't like sport in a war game. Right, what's new for the Custodes? Are all of these coming to 40k? Sodality? Sodality, right? Is that a mini grab tank? Big gun dreadnought. Telemon heavy dreadnought, now in plastic. Multi-part plastic.
Welcome back. We have really excited to talk now about the Adeptus Custodes or Legio Custodes.
Well,
Which one is it, Eddie?
It's both, Adam, because
Perfect.
the new box set that's on its way is a reinforcement set for the Custodes, and you can use it for either Warhammer the Horus Heresy or Warhammer 40,000. And just in case you didn't believe us, we put the logos on the box.
It couldn't be clearer,
there's
couldn't
no
Ooh, so
confusion.
there you
can
go.
absolutely
You
use
play
this
your
for
40k
either
or
game
your
system.
30k
There are 6 models
Custodes.
in this box,
That's
which
what
doesn't sound like
Custodes
a lot,
players
but
want.
when
you realise how big they
until you
are.
look at the models, which are huge and awesome.
No,
so
no,
let's start
sisters are
with the
silent
fastest
still.
unit in that box.
Yeah, these are the Gerfalcon
But it's
jet
your
bikes,
jet bikes.
an iconic unit from the
And
Legio
they'll get
Custodes
some
force.
rules in 40k,
They
and
are
that'll fall
fast-moving,
under
hard-hitting,
Imperial
heavily
armor,
armed
maybe.
and armored units, which are designed to storm in and break the back of enemy forces. Each
I don't much
custodian
enjoy
is
playing
armed,
against Custodes,
like,
no,
to the
but
teeth.
it is like
there's loads of things to talk about
an
here.
extra battle
The first
force
thing
of
would
sort.
be
It's
to
a
mention that
hey,
there's
there's loads of
different
new
guns
models
that
coming.
come on
We
these
put them
models.
all in one
Essentially,
box.
You have a choice
Then you
of
sell
the
them.
Adrathic Devastator, Arachnus Volleygun, Twin Corvée Pulse Laser. That's the over and under one. You can see it looks a bit like an over and under shotgun. And then you also have the
Custodes are
Ratchet
like
bolt
hyper
cannons.
elite.
Loads of different weapons to do loads of
And
different
sometimes
jobs.
you don't
So
have
one of the things in
the
the
damage
Custodes
to
army,
get through
obviously,
there
is
with
you
3
haven't got a lot of
wounds
units
or
because
more.
they tend to cost a lot of points.
And they're
So you
2+
might find
save
you've
and
got
they're
a couple
4+ invulnerable
things
save
that your army's not very
just
good at killing.
continually
And one of the
passes,
things
and
that units like
is
this
very
can do with
annoying.
loads of different options is you go, actually, I really need some help to kill monsters.
I'm glad they're
or
doing a,
infantry
yes,
or
this is
something. So
30k
you
and
can hit these
40k.
out
Why
with
would you
almost
split them up?
a
There's
gun
no
for
real
almost any
need to do
occasion,
that.
right?
Absolutely.
You can have different guns across the unit, or you can actually go, I just want them all to be really good at killing vehicles, give them the best thing for killing the specific vehicle, I think, that I'm
Yeah,
good
you've got
at.
lances.
Yeah, all of them also have a Solarite Power Lance, which is a formidable power weapon.
It's
Solarite.
enormous. The
Ooh.
Solarite Lance, it's about 3 times the length of a Space Marine.
Yeah,
I reckon you could
huge.
kebab about 5 Chaos Space Marines on that thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's 4 of these inside the set.
Yeah, you
which
could
is a
make them white
brilliant
scars.
Unit to go
Custodes,
spearheading
but
around
you
the
paint them
battlefield
as white
and
scars, and then they
bring
feel
pain to the enemy.
very
Not the only thing
I
that
don't
moves
know.
fast in this box. We also have the Palace Grab Attack.
super powerful, like
Yeah, the Palace Grab
movie
Attack
Marines
is
level.
a fast-moving skimmer for the Custodes. You can kit it out with either anti-infantry or anti-vehicle stuff. It
So that's a
works
little
little
skimmer?
bit like a land speeder is probably the way to think about it, and it's very useful for Custodes
I wouldn't have
because
called
you
it a
tend to
land
have
speeder, but okay.
a lot of very expensive models, so you don't have very many small units. So this can zip around the battlefield, taking objectives, getting the enemy where they're hiding.
We're still
in a way
waiting
that
on
your
the
infantry,
Emperor's Children getting
they're very good
access
at
to
holding ground, but
30k
not
stuff.
very good at kind of chasing stuff down.
Yeah, and this
I
is
don't know if
another one of those
sisters
units
need
you can use to
bikes.
sort of cater
Surely
for
they'd go
where
for,
you
like,
think
horse
you might
girls
need
instead.
additional strength. Has 2 weapons to choose from: the twin Arachne
We
Blaze
have
Cannon
fast
or
attack,
the twin
we're all right.
Adeptus Accelerator Fusel. Ooh, say those in a hurry. So you
Yes,
can
this is an
tailor your
all-plastic
sword,
multi-part
your,
release.
Palace to
None of it's
deal with
resin, none of it's metal.
But I think the
showstopper.
showstopper of this box
This
is
is indeed a
undoubtedly
pod
the
racing thing.
Telemon Dreadnought. This is a brand new multi-part plastic
Big
kit,
Dreadnought.
a reinvention of the resin version, the already
Big
very
Dreadnought.
nice resin version of the Telemon Dreadnought, but in glorious multi-part plastic, keeping all the posability with even more detail and even more.
There would be a
weapon
lot of
options.
people who would do an
speaking of
Uma
weapon
Muma,
options, I'll walk
horse
you through
girl,
them. Between its
sisters.
shoulder blades, you can see the spiculous missile launcher. But there are other weapon options too. Here you can see the
I don't
Iliastus
want
Accelerator
flying sisters
Culverin,
on jet
the
bikes.
Adrastic Devastator, and the Arachne Storm Cannon.
No, I
On
think it would be
his
fine
other
with
hand,
actual
so you can
horse
build those
girls.
as you
That
will,
would
choose
more
them on
likely is
your
what they would
layout.
do.
On the other hand,
Just to
you
compete
have
with the
the
Mechanicus
Kestus. That's essentially
horses.
fancy Legio Custodes terms for Power Fist.
I'm seeing a lot of mounted
with
units possibly
twin
coming out, like
Neutronium
Space
Cascade
Marines on
projector.
bikes as a multi-part
Bit
kit,
like a flamethrower,
rather than just
but with
reselling the 9th
Neutronium.
edition stuff.
Absolutely.
Orc
Neutronium's
bikers we
more
know are
deadly than
coming.
Flame, apparently.
Gotta
So
be,
there you go.
right.
One of those guns is, of course, new. The one that's
Other
currently
mounted
equipped,
things
the
will
name escapes me,
happen.
Sorry, the
Oh, I think you are talking about the Iliastus Accelerator
Oh,
Culverin.
yeah, exactly that one. And this is just a really beautiful kit, right? So you could paint this up very quickly if you wanted to, like a gold spray. And
Yeah,
then a
you can
wash would
paint
make it look
Custodes very
beautiful.
quickly. You
But
get a
equally, if you
spray
wanted to
can
take
of
your time over
gold,
all the
spray it,
detail of
and
this,
you're
it's
done.
absolutely dripping in detail, more detail even than was on some of those resin versions of this when it came out. We have
Sisters
one
should
on the
have horses
table,
that spew
and we
fire,
brought
kind
along
of like
some
the
other
Mechanicus
dreadnoughts
versions already
so you can sort
do.
of see how it scales up.
Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. This Telemon Dreadnought is ever so slightly larger than the resin one. So we brought a Leviathan Dreadnought.
Do you remember when you saw a Leviathan for the first time and thought, you're never going to pick
Nothing could ever be cooler than a Leviathan
Okay.
Dreadnought. And he's still
I don't know. I'm thinking that a lot of their stuff is getting very
the Telemon Dreadnought
overly
stands
big.
a good head above.
Because what's that,
the,
120 millimeter base?
Even the Leviathan.
Because it's bigger than the Leviathan
last
base.
summer's release, lots of people may have
It's
got
like
their
all the
hands
stuff
on
in the
a
Saturnine box.
Dreadnought, and here you can see there's some
Extremely big.
similarity between these two in terms of the shape of the shoulder pads and things. The Telemon is a little taller.
I don't know if they're going to show off a knight.
Saturnine
It's smaller
is
than a
little
knight.
bit broader.
Yeah, absolutely. So this one definitely is got more
But the
mass.
scale
like
creep
the
is
weight
very
of it
real.
looks heavy. But the Telemon stands ever so slightly taller, which might just mean that the Custodes
Big
didn't
shoulder
want to kind of
pads.
ever look up at a space marine. That's probably the point, isn't
Yeah,
it?
why not? I like it. So all of these models that we've talked about, so the Gerfalcon jet bikes, the Palace Grav Attack, and the
What have we
Telemon
had?
Dreadnought
So we've had
will be available
new
in plastic for the
Custodes
first
for
time as part of
30k.
this box set,
We've had-
and then available
There's going to
separately
be a smaller
next time.
version of Old World
absolutely.
play.
Use them.
And
Definitely
Orcs
use
versus
them
Cathay.
for both Warhammer 40,000
In
and
not
Warhammer
Orcs
You
versus
absolutely
Cathay.
can.
Chaos
One of the
versus
new
Cathay.
detachments for
in
the Custodes in
40k,
Warhammer
we
40,000
know
has
that
some
Orc Boys are
specific
coming.
upgrades for
But we
Telemon
haven't seen them
Dreadnoughts
yet.
as well.
We know
So-
that several of the things that
Great,
you can
nice.
get in Armageddon
So,
will be
that's
sold
not everything
separately.
for the Age of Darkness. We also
You
have
can get a Combat
new,
Patrol, which is
General
half
Tactica
size.
on the
You
way.
can get
This
the
is
big
General
size.
Tactica Prospero Burns, the Judgment of Valdor, and this deals with.
I'm
the
sure that
actions
the two of them
Constantine
keep
Valdor and
confusing the
Legio
words
Custodes
incursion
during
and
the burning
strike
of
force.
Prospero when they joined
Because they did
forces
describe
with
that as a
Space
full
Wolves to bring
incursion-sized
judgment
board.
to Magnus and his errant sons.
Yeah, we know quite
And when
a lot
they were
about
talking
the
about
burning
what
of Prospero.
point
We've
size
seen
to
it
play,
from the Thousand Suns
even though
perspective,
the
we've
app
seen it from the
you
Space
play
Wolves
for
perspective.
1500,
We know
you have
that
to
the
pick Strike
Custodes
Force
were
just so it
there,
lets you have
but
enough
we
points
haven't
to pick
really
from.
heard much about what the Custodes were up to, and this explores explores
Then
that, you
I
kind of
think
find
they
out
meant to say it the
what
other way
they were
around.
doing while the two legions were taking chunks out of
Yeah,
each other.
incursion is
One of the
1,000
things that's
points,
quite
strike
cool
force is
about it
2,000
that,
points.
the Custodes obviously on one side. On the other side, there are some Thousand Sons, but the main antagonist really for them is a demonic foe.
Yeah, absolutely. For the first time, this
Prospero
presents
something?
for this edition a full army list for the Demons of Siege,
Can't
including
read
new
that well
psychic
enough.
disciplines. So you can start using the warp denizens of the patron who is presiding over the ruin.
Gonna have something
Full
that isn't
salvation.
generic
No, it's
demons because they
absolutely
kind of are
not.
like the
There's even more
the
stuff in
Rift
there that we've talked about here.
Storm
There's
demons. I can't remember what phrase they used to describe the demons in 30k, but it was the something demons, and it was generic
which
demons.
Really shines a light on an area of the Horus Heresy. we've
Nothing
not
like
looked at before,
specifically
so
Yeah,
it's
God.
I think that's the best kind of Horus Heresy games. Ones where you're going back to those iconic moments in the lore and refighting it. Like, what if it was a little bit different? What if it
Oh,
was, like,
yeah,
maybe
it's,
what if the tactics would-
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
a refight. It's a book that was
Recreating
already
those
out
amazing
for
stories is
previous
what it's all
editions of
So,
Horus
sticking
Heresy,
with
wasn't
the
it?
Age of Darkness, but going a bit smaller as we look at some Legions
Or
Imperialis.
possibly bigger.
But yes, bigger and
All
smaller
right,
at the
what are
same
we doing
time.
for Legions
have
Imperialis?
three
I'm
models
surprised
we're
they're
gonna talk about
continuing
now.
with that.
These are models for the Titan Legions. This is the Warlord Battle Titan with Quake
Yeah,
Cannon
having
and
Sisters of
Conversion
Silence
Beam
would be good.
Extirpator. To extirpate means to destroy utterly. And that is what the weapon loadout on
Okay.
this
Warlord Titan, but
do.
it's for Imperialis.
As you see this video
So it's
playing
not for
before, you can see
40k.
what all the different weapons are. There's a whole bunch, and they have really long and difficult to
Demons
say
of the
live
Ruin
on air
Storm, that
names,
was it.
Such as
But
the
you should still
Conversion
try,
Beam
I think.
Extirpator.
The Conversion
this is
Beamer.
a kit which will come packaged all together, so you get the Warlord. It's
gonna be very
All of these
expensive.
weapons. It includes some extra bits and pieces, so there's.
I suppose you could play it in
guns on the
Titanicus
turrets,
as
you've got
well.
Gatling blasters and turbo laser destructors.
Which was
You have
originally
two
what they
Warlord
brought out
heads
a lot of
inside
the
kit,
knights for
and
at
it
that
also
scale.
contains all the cards you would need to use this if you were playing Adeptus Titanicus.
Nice.
There we are,
If you just want
Adeptus
the weapons,
Titanicus.
they'll be available
So they're still,
separately,
in
you
theory,
just won't get
continuing
one
to
card
support Titanicus
Cool.
and
This is
Legions
one of three
Imperialis.
things we're going to talk about. The
with
next
this one
is
big
the
kit.
Warlord Battle Titan with Volkite
I think
Destructor
most
and
people have
Macro
stopped
Gatling
caring about
Blaster.
it, though.
Again, not a thing to say too
I
quickly
played
on a
Legions
Friday night.
Imperialis, and I
here
thought,
is another
this is a
towering,
lot
God
like
engine of
the
Legion,
40k
Titan
Apocalypse
Legions.
game they
It
released
has
in
a
like
whole bunch of
2000.
different weapons, which you can see
Yeah,
playing out on
18,
your
19.
screen. They include the Graviton Ruinator, which you can see here. It's the biggest Graviton gun I've ever seen.
Very
Volkite
similar way of
Destructor,
playing.
Macro Gatling
And it
Blaster,
was
the Vulcan
perfectly
Megabolter
fine.
Array, which sits on its shoulders.
I don't like
It
playing at
also
that
includes the
scale. I
Warlord
think
Titan
that's
heads
too
and those
small.
cards I mentioned
Like the
before if you
smallest
wanted to
scale I
play
want to do of models
Adeptus
is bolt
Titanicus.
action
Adam,
size
what if I had a
models.
slightly smaller Titan but still wanted loads of massive guns?
And complicated names, then you are going to be fine, because this is the Titan Legions Reaver Titan with Graviton Obliterator and Volkite Annihilator. A mid-sized Titan that packs an incredible punch with weapons such as the
that a
aforementioned
Warhound?
Graviton Obliterator, the Volkite Annihilator. It also has
No, it's bigger than a
Vulcan
Warhound, isn't
Megabolter
it?
option for its
Reaver
carapace.
Titan,
And you
yes.
just saw it there. My favourite, possibly, of all the names that we've had this evening, which is the Conversion Beam Dissolutor.
Those are some cool guns and
Yes.
some great verbs.
Yeah,
Different
it also has
letters,
a Reaver
different
head
letters.
and
They
the
start with
Conversion
different letters.
in Adeptus Titanicus, and you can get the weapon separately should you desire no more Titans. What's wrong with you?
So if people only
there we
played
go.
Titanicus and really like
Pretty exciting
Titanicus,
should
there
you
is
play
something.
Heresy.
I would like to see that
There we
next
go.
to the 30k
We'll
Dreadnought
take
and
a
next to a
breather. Now
40k
might be
Knight
the
just to
time
see.
to talk a little bit about something coming to Warhammer Plus very soon. There is a new
More
animation
things for
Look at the
Warhammer
Butcher's
Plus.
Nails.
Alright, they're doing a World Eaters thing. Butcher's Nails. So that was a drop pod. Violence. Don't know if I like the first person stuff. This doesn't feel violent enough. That was a guy firing his bolt pistol quite a lot. Ooh.
That looks a bit
Imperial
good.
Fists
Eddie,
getting
what can you
killed.
tell us about
I think they were
Butcher's
Imperial
Nails?
Fists.
Yeah, this is a new animation coming to Warhammer TV for Warhammer Plus subscribers. It is a one-off standalone episode, so it's a Hammer and Bolter episode of Warhammer
Okay.
40,000.
So it's
and
not like the
effectively
Aeronautica
it tells the
stuff.
story of a Khorne Berserker.
That's a
who is part of
blurry chain
chaos
axe.
assault on an Imperial stronghold. As you would imagine for a World Eater story, it is incredibly violent. It is by some margin the bloodiest and most violent piece of Warhammer animation we have yet featured on Warhammer TV, and it is pretty
most
much
violent. They've
non-stop
done
carnage from the
some
moment
violent stuff
that,
before. I mean, they've
the
done horror
shots
things
open
before.
to the final
Why is he
battle.
firing his bolt
Fantastic.
pistol at that
Here you can
range?
see a shot that we
You're
saw
a world
something like this
eater.
in
You're
the
not going to
trailer.
hit.
This looks like the head-up display inside the helmet of the World Eater.
Yeah, so not all of it, but some of the animation is shown from the literal perspective of the World Eater, who is obviously a little bit unhinged. The Butcher's nails are starting to bite. If he doesn't get continuous kills and carnage.
Okay.
He starts to go kind of slowly insane.
Slowly
and he basically is
insane.
chopping his way through as many
I mean, that
enemies
can
as
work
he can
as a
find,
video
partly
game,
to
and
try and
that's
achieve
what it
victory,
looks
but
like.
mostly just to
If you
try
were
and
doing
make
that.
the whining of
And
the nail
then
cease even for the briefest
you have to do
moment.
fighting, and you're
Fantastic.
really
And
good
we've
at
got a
fighting, and
sense
the
of
more
who
you
is
kill,
fighting,
the
but
better
what's
you
the-
kill.
what's the
But
battle
otherwise,
between-
you have this
almost
like
really
you take
doesn't
damage
mind
as you're
what
not
happens.
killing
Really,
people.
Khorne doesn't care as long as the blood flows. There are definitely some Astra Militarum. There's some guardsmen, some unfortunate guardsmen who have to stand up against Khorne Berserker.
Space Marines of the Imperial
There are
Fist.
some Space
Might have been
Marines
a
of the
nice,
Imperial
like,
Fist.
one-off
There's some
little
other
game
Chaos Space
they
Marines
could
in the
do.
mix.
But
sure
no,
won't get
because
away
then
with
we
it.
have to
fine,
think.
I'm sure.
Now,
but,
which
it's
game
not a
are we
number
ripping
repair or
off
anything,
this
it's all
time?
good.
Is it Doom? Is it Vampire
yes,
Survivors?
it's going to be
what
a,
game currently exists that we
non-stop
can just add a
action
40k
carnage
filter
fest.
to?
It's a really fun animation.
Perfect. And coming out fairly soon.
It comes out in August.
Awesome. That's very exciting. So, from the Butcher's Nails and Warhammer Plus, let's go to the Mortal Realms for something more.
What's happening in Age of Sigmar?
Opens. Hungering predator. Sun eater.
Okay.
The
Ogre. All right, there we go. We're getting our ogres. That's a new ogre tyrant.
I see his will.
They haven't really had much of an expansion in Age of Sigmar. They were mostly using old world units, weren't they? New iron guts on circular basis.
Is the hunger that endures through winter and war.
I just found the old world ogres to be something that's very much tied to the old world, because there's the Great Maw there as a physical thing, and I don't know if it exists still in Age of Sigmar, but there's this big hole in the floor with teeth.
Eat. First we're gonna beat 'em, then we're gonna eat 'em. First we're gonna beat 'em, then we're gonna eat 'em. First we're gonna beat 'em, then we're gonna eat 'em.
Seers? Alright, so like a unit of butchers. Yeah, they were always like pretty Eastern, because the idea was they're
Champion comes.
like Western China essentially.
That was very exciting to see such a large amount of models coming soon to the Mortal Realms with these new Ogre Maw tribes. Eddie, where do we even start?
I am super excited about this
Oh, they've got
release.
them on the
This
table.
is an enormous range refresh for the Ogre Maw tribes. There's so much to talk about. I think let's start with the army
And
set,
a big
which
box.
is coming out. This is the
All of
first
them in a
place
box,
you'll get
all
a
the
chance
new models.
to get your hands on some of the new miniatures. This is an enormous army launch set, a little bit like what we've seen with some of the armies
Yeah,
recently.
like the Hellsmiths and so on.
Exactly like the Hellsmith, same
So
sort of
is it a
concept. You get
squad
a very
of
a cool
regular
version of the
guys and a
Battle Tome
tyrant?
and the first chance to get hold of a bunch of the miniatures. Let's have a
And
quick
then the
chat
Iron
about
Guts.
some of the stuff in this
None
set.
of them with
Sure,
cannons.
so first out the gates would be sort of the mainstay unit for the Ogre Maw tribes. These are the Gluttons, the sort of replacement or refresh of what in old days you might have called Ogre Bulls. And boy, do they
Right,
look
so
good.
the basic ogres,
Yeah, the Ogre
Gluttons.
Bulls are still really cool models, like,
Yeah,
but they are they've been around for a while now. They're more than 20 years
You
old.
shocked me with
Yeah,
that. I
sorry
realised
about
how
that,
old
Adam.
I thought they were like
was.
2000.
So they are well and truly
like
deserving of a
2010,
refresh. This is a really cool update for them.
No, it'd
they
be a bit
still
earlier
keep
than
the
that,
kind of
yeah.
general aesthetic of the Ogre Bulls, but they're much more dynamic.
They
They're
have
a little
helmets
bigger.
now.
The armor plates are much more impressive.
I really like
got the
shape of
big
helmets. They
guts.
look like they're designed
Yeah,
to deflect
yeah.
downward
Yeah,
blows away
and if you
from the
remember, like
shoulders as well.
the first time those models came out, they were designed for Warhammer Fantasy, where they'd have to rank up. So actually, the poses were quite sort of
Yeah,
limiting on a
very
lot of the
dynamic
miniatures.
here, aren't they?
These are much like cooler, more impressive poses. Even things like having those
look
arms
fine.
out. They
They
just
look a bit
really
big.
great. The detail on them is obviously 20 years on from the last time we saw the Ogre Bulls. So these are really, really cool miniatures. You
Still
get
got
10
the
of
pu-
these
the punchy,
in that
punchy
launch box.
fists.
This is only the most basic of the Ogre Maw tribes units.
Fantastic.
Let's move on to, I think, might be one of my favorites.
Yeah, so mine too. I think the Iron Guts have always
The Iron
looked
Guts,
really
they've got a
cool, and
big
these are
samurai
even cooler if
well,
possible.
I don't know
The
what
Iron
kind of
Guts
sword
are
that is,
an
a
elite
no-dachi
ogre unit.
sword?
They carry enormous weapons.
Or a
And
talwar?
they wear more armor, so you can see those armor
Big
plates on their arms
sword.
going all
Very
the way up to
big
the
sword.
shoulders.
No
Their
bear
helmets are a
trap
little bit
fist.
fancier,
Yeah,
but
that
it's
was a fun
massive
thing.
two-handed weapon.
They
There
look
was a
like
guy,
they
like,
mean
punching you
absolute
with
business,
a
right?
bear
Like, the
traps that
size of
clamps
those
around your head.
weapons, and again, much more dynamic. But those blades are about twice the size of a mortal human.
Very
right? So they're
big
gonna
and
make
good.
An absolute mess. They already are an excellent unit in Warhammer Age of Sigmar. They're still an excellent unit, and now the miniatures are even better.
Yeah, absolutely. To keep this rabble in line, you need an Ogre Tyrant. So this model is a multi-part
Alright.
kit. He enables you to build him in a couple of ways. Essentially,
Is that a beard,
really
or is that
powerful, heavy-hitting
not a
ogre
beard?
character.
I think it's a beard.
You can see a couple of the options. I love this one with the fur cloak. It sort of fits into the more
Yeah,
sort
if you want to have an icy
punchy
tribe.
style thing you can do with an ogre army, where you want to focus more on the beast if you want to, or you can go full gutbuster with this one. whichever you prefer, really.
Yeah, if you've got the kind of Beast Claw Raider
Yeah,
vibe.
absolutely.
And I think
Okay.
you can obviously have a mix
Yeah, it
of
looks
them as
nice.
well, but
Looks
you've got
perfectly fine.
a
If you
lot
like
of different
ogres,
ways to
it's
kind
an
of
ogre
lean into
thing.
different ogre armies.
And you
it's
can
just
always
nice to
have them
a
for
multi-block
old
character
world
where you
and
can
put them on
immediately
square
start to
bases.
make them your own. One of the big things about ogres
Yeah, it looks like a
for their
neck
entire
beard,
history
yeah.
is the idea of like big names, right? They carry that through
Yeah.
into this battle tome as well, where the leader of your force is literally making a name for himself by achieving various
Neck
feats.
hair
So being
squeak.
able to kind of have the pelts of the things he's defeated on him absolutely makes sense.
Because
Those
they're
units
still
we've
doing
all
like
seen before
crusade
in
things in
different
Age
ways.
of
The
Sigmar,
next
but
unit
not
is
in
effectively a
40k,
new type.
where
These
the
are the
Codex
Maul
is a
Beast Cavalry
paper book and a
the
small
Maul
paper
Beast
book,
Raiders.
and
This is a
you
two
put it
for
in
kit, so you
sleeve.
can make two different units. They function in a similar way. Both of them are cavalry units. The Maul
still gonna
Beast
keep drinking
Raiders
tea
are your
even
kind
in
of
this heat.
fast-moving scout unit. The Maul Beast Cavalry are your hard-hitting shock cavalry. They're a little bit more armored. The guy in the back has more weapons, whereas the Maul Beast Raiders have some ranged attacks.
Yeah.
These effectively replace the Mournfang cavalry in your ogre list.
Maul Beast
they
rather than
fulfill a
Maul
similar
Fangs.
sort of role.
Yeah,
in-
yeah.
Yeah, and we'll talk a little bit more about just how tough they are and how hard they hit in a little while. So these are all the models
Regular
that come
tea
inside
is
that new
fine.
Ogre army
We
set.
don't need
Obviously,
iced
you need
tea.
the Battle Tome and the War Scroll cards as well. This is the Battle
that's an
Tome
interesting
that
way
comes
of doing
with
it.
the Ogre
Red
War cards
text
inside
on
the
a
set.
black
It's got this
background.
lovely sort of finish to it. You can see the tyrant on the front.
But when it spins, you can
obviously,
see
there'll be
why they
standard
want the red
editions of the
teeth
Battle
on the
Tome
black
out in due time.
background.
You'll be able to get the model separately, but if you want first in on the new Ogres, this is the way. It wasn't all we saw in that awesome video, though. Do you want to show the box?
Yeah,
Which is
I've got
coming.
the box right here. So this is the box. It's really lovely. That is all the stuff you get in there. So just to confirm, you get 10 of those gluttons, you get the tyrants, you get 2 of the cavalry, and you get that big unit of iron guts, and then you get your battle tome in there as well. So it's a really
All
lovely
right.
set.
Okay, so you got.
Fantastic.
So we still
Right.
need to see
So,
the butcher separate and the 3.
What else is there to talk about? Well, I
magic
guess we saw
butchers.
some things which fit in a different sort of part of the ogre army with the sort of Maw Seekers component, right?
There we go.
so
There's the butcher.
One of the bits of the ogre force is the kind of tyrant and the iron guts and things like that. But another fairly major part of ogre society are the Maw Seekers, the butchers, and the things that follow in the butcher's wake. The butcher again is a model that's been out
Butcher gets
for a
their own
very long
unit,
time.
sort
Well
of?
worth an update. This model is a phenomenally cool
He's
upgrade.
also deeply disturbing.
Yeah,
Why does that look
I think
like
you've got some strong feelings about
scars?
exactly how
Oh, right, that's
unpleasant
the
it is.
belly.
Well,
That's
the
their
model's
actual
great,
belly,
but
and
he's
they've got
definitely
big
a bit
scars.
grim, isn't
And
he?
the longer you look, the more disturbing it gets. The way he's holding the corpse in his hand, the gore sloshing around in his cauldron, and all this for what is essentially a really beefy ogre wizard.
Yeah, butchers are sort of part wizard, part
Big
chef,
chopper.
part shaman, part mystic.
Yeah, the butcher's
So
plate
they're
is our
really
actual
important to ogre
stomach,
society.
yes.
Ogre society basically is all about
a belly
eating.
button.
All ogres at their core have this kind of unending hunger, which they interpret as the will of the god Mor, who may or
Gotta
may not be
keep
part of the
eating.
greater pantheon of Gorka Morka, depending on which ogre you speak to. And butchers try to tap into that arcane power, that kind of
It's
godly
got like
power,
the
and
surrounding gut
manifest it in
plate
various
stuff,
different
but otherwise
spells.
that's the
A
skin.
lot
They
of their
just
magic
painted
is
it
to do with
to
consuming
be like
something and then
painted,
manifesting
the
that
same
into
as the
magic in some way, shape, or form.
the gore
There
on
are
one of the
more devotees
sleeves
of
and
the
the
Gulping God.
markings on the shoulder
This
there,
is
like
one of
tooth
those
markings.
kits. These are the ogre cleavers, and they are kind of like butchers in training, right?
Yeah, these are fanatics of ogre society who follow in the
Would-be
wake of the
butchers.
butchers. They do a range of different things. After a battle, they'll collect up all the various body parts and offal and bits of enemies to throw into the cauldron for the butcher.
wrong at
They
this.
are
Yeah, it could be part of an
kind
apron. On that one, it
fanatically
definitely looks like an
driven
apron.
Disciples of the
But then
butchers
why
and
would
of
it
the
have
god
stitches?
Mor.
The combination of the
I
miniature
suppose if
design
it's cloth,
team
then you've
and the heavy metal
stitched the
painting
cloth
team
together.
have
Yeah, that
really
makes
just
sense.
worked
That makes
up a
sense.
horror with these.
Yeah,
They
I
are
mean,
so
Blood for the
good.
Blood God is
That one
Absolutely.
looks a lot
Crying out
more
for
like
light.
Gore up to the elbows,
It's,
cauldrons full
cloth.
of offal. These are
And so it's
incredible.
covered in, like,
they're not
blood
the
and
only
stuff,
things
'cause it
within
is
this
cloth.
Maw Seeker
It's like the apron.
collective. That kit also makes another option, so you can either make the cleavers that you saw there, or you can make these, which are the gut seers.
Yeah, Gutseers are even more horrible and sinister than the butchers, if you can imagine that.
The
These have
Gutseers are
tapped
new.
into the power of Mor, and the way that they work in game is that your wizards become more powerful and can effectively cast spells through these guys when they're nearby. The thing that I really like about them from a miniature
Conduit
perspective is
for
those
magic.
gut plates. If
Yeah.
you look at the gut plates on something like the Iron Guts, they have just armored guts, whereas
You know,
these
they look like teeth, maybe. But
yeah, these
have got-
guts look like intestines or
swirly
offal
stuff.
or-
and they're
or
kind of
guts,
rendered in
basically.
really like arcane parody. There's
I
something
love
very
it. I think it's
disturbing
really.
going on.
They look like they'd be loads of fun to paint.
Yep.
Yeah,
And then,
skin
of
apron is
course,
also perfectly
the
acceptable.
centre of
I
all
mean,
of
it's
this
going to be
is
made out
Red
of
the
some.
Maw. This is the
I don't think they're
High
going to get
Slaughtermaster,
cotton.
Sort of like the head of this cult of the Gulping God.
They don't seem like
What can
cotton
you tell us
clothes.
about Red?
This is a brand
But
new character for
skinning
the
people,
Ogre tribes. This
probably that.
is one of the most powerful characters in your Ogre army. One of the most powerful
Right,
characters.
so this
in
is
all
a
of
character,
Age
but
of
he's
Sigmar,
for Age of
Goes
Sigmar.
to battle on this enormous
So he's
kind of
not
cauldron construct
greasiest
that's pulled into
gold
battle
tooth.
by a Gorger. Gorgers are the other part of that kind of Moorseeker grouping. So Moorseekers covers your butchers, your Gorgers, and all the kind of various fanatics that follow in their wake. You've got this enormous cauldron, which I assume is where the enemy army
was
goes
my
after
Discord,
the battle.
if you heard my
They get
Discord.
thrown in there. And this is both an incredible miniature, but also an incredibly powerful piece for your Age of Sigmar armies.
a
We'll have
nice
a little look at some of the
big
rules
piece
around it
being
later.
dragged along.
And in lore terms,
It's just whenever I
this
see
is the
anything
high
big,
prophet, the
I
high
think,
priest
how am I going
of
to
the
pack that?
Gotham
How am I
realm.
going to
So
store that?
ogres
How am
from
I
across
going
the
to
realm
transport that to a
flock
game?
to read the more, to hear what they've got to say.
Love the fact it's being pulled into battle by a Gorge.
It's a good
This is
title,
really
yes.
cool.
Yes.
So all of these models are coming in the not too distant future for the Ogre More
Intestines.
tribes.
Yep.
Creepy.
Obviously, you need a battle tome to learn all about it, and so there will be the standard edition on the left or the gamers edition on the right.
The gamer
You need to
edition.
start
Oh, we
playing
need to have a
the game.
gamer
so, I mean,
edition.
this is a huge and sizable update of things for the Ogre More tribes. We've shown you almost all of the new models
But not
for the
all.
Ogres. There's a couple more things on the way. The other thing that's worth saying is a couple of the existing units do stick around as well. So particularly some of the big Beastclaw Raider.
I would assume that
monsters.
also, like, the
So you've
cannon
got some things
people
like
would
Stonehorns
stick
and stuff in
around.
your army. You can still absolutely use those, and they work really nicely alongside that. Tyrant, which we have one on the table here, done up as a
Got that beast claw.
yeah, you got the kind of
vibe going on,
beast
hasn't
claw vibe. There with, I'll turn him around so you can see the kind of pelt on his back. It's really cool.
it? Fantastic. Should we have a little bit of a look at some of the rules? and
Yeah, let's
things
do it.
And what you'll find inside the battle tome. So these are the faction rules, the battle traits for your ogres. What can you tell us, Eddie?
Yeah, so we're not going to go through the entirety because there's a big old page of
Screen
rules
grab
there.
if
But
you really
yeah,
wanna
if you're an
know.
ogre player
Yes,
or you
Exodites
want to
are
know what you're
coming.
going to be up against in Age of Sigmar, take your
Well,
screen grab
we should
now.
see them towards
Fundamentally,
the
they've
end.
got two big army special rules. The
We're just
first
getting a
big
little
army
bit
rule
ahead of
is
ourselves.
If you are in combat with an enemy
But
unit, at the end of
Exodites
the
are
turn,
coming for
or
the
you've
Eldar.
defeated an enemy unit in combat, so and basically you can just have some lunch. You can
Have a
take a chunk out of the enemy unit you're fighting, and you can get a bunch of different rules. So this encourages your ogre army
While
to
this
get
is still
stuck in.
ongoing.
If they're in the middle of the enemy army, they can start getting bonuses. There's some really strong stuff in there. You've got stuff like run and charge. You can make the unit harder to kill, make them hit harder. You can mess with enemy wizards, all sorts of stuff.
Fantastic.
Get out of that.
Go on.
And then you've got the other special rule in there,
Yeah.
which is basically like a special thing where when you charge into an enemy unit,
There we go.
you can basically say, would you like to
Yes,
say we want to
Exodites
take the
are
ogre's
coming.
charge, in which case you take a bunch of mortal wounds, or you can say, well, I'll give you the opportunity to move backwards if you like.
So we've got
in
little
which case
dragon
your opponent
riders.
Immediately cedes
Very
ground to your
good.
ogres. So it's really good for
We'll look
shifting
at them
units off
later when they
objectives.
actually come up
Absolutely,
properly.
getting hit by that wall
Presumably
of
in
iron
this
muscle
stream.
is no joke.
Presumably.
Obviously, the war scrolls have been looked at as well. So these are the Maul Beast cavalry that we showed you before. They come in the army set. And I talked about how just
So yes,
devastatingly powerful they
Exodites
are.
on
Gut
a
bites
mounted
weapons do damage
Exodite.
3, the Maul Beasts do
So it
damage
could be a
2,
kill
3 on
team,
the
yeah.
charge. These hit you
So
like
it'll be a
landslide.
one-off
So
unit.
many attacks, incredibly dangerous.
I think this is a really powerful unit. If you're familiar with the way that ogres work today, you'll know how Mournfang cavalry work. You'll be familiar with the stats.
Sisters
A lot
on
of stats are
dinosaurs.
fairly
No,
similar
we've
to
got
Mournfangs,
Eldar and
but across
dinosaurs.
the board, wherever there's a change, it tends to be a bit better. For the
Oh,
Maul Beast
you're gonna
cavalry,
get into Eldar,
they
that's
are a
crazy.
really tough unit to deal with because
They've
they're
got so many new
excellent on the
plastic
charge,
kits.
so it's bonuses to charge, but they're also excellent when being charged. So they're a really hard unit to kind of solve your enemy. I think just a couple of these on the flanks would do great, or even
That is a
investing in
very
big
smug
double-sized
creature.
unit and slamming it into the middle of the enemy army could be very powerful.
Yeah, and you can see some of the special rules and things that are going on there, but I love the Ravenous counterattack rule. That means that you can be quite daring with them as a sort of like scouting unit.
I like Exodites as a
Brilliant.
concept,
We
but
talked
I'm
a little bit
waiting
about
to
Red
see
the
if
Maul,
they're like a
Heroes rules.
sub-faction
There is a lot
themselves
to take in.
that'll get their own
Yeah,
detachment,
this is one of the kind of big,
or if it's a
kind of
one-off,
big named
here's
special
a unit of
characters,
5.
of the ogres as well. We're not going to go through everything on the sheet. Feel free to take a screenshot and peruse at your leisure. The things to call out are: this is an incredibly durable character. 18 wounds, a
Big
4-up
guy,
save, and
yep.
a ward save means that you've got to
That's
throw
a lot,
you've got to
right?
throw a lot of stuff at this guy before he goes down. A level 2 wizard, that's always going to be
Just to keep
useful. The thing to
looking.
really shout out is that command ability, where effectively you can pick an ogre unit nearby, and that unit can benefit from
Right, so it looks
as
like a
if it
kill
was in
team.
combat with an enemy unit. So all of those big list of buffs,
But it's
that you've
against
got in
orcs,
your
but they're
army
not
special
new
rules,
orcs.
You can just give those out.
Yeah,
to
it's
units
kill team.
nearby
It
for a
says
command
kill
point,
team right
and you
there.
can do some great stuff with that. You've got one of them in there which is run and charge. So right from the
Fancy.
off, you can be like, I really want one of my units in combat on the first turn. You can just do it. You've also
looking
got
at
the
like a
ability
squad
that
of
gives ward
5,
saves to loads of
and you
nearby
fight
units. So
like
this is
10
just an absolutely
orcs
really useful linchpin unit. for the middle of your
and
army.
Fantastic.
a unit
There's
of
a
the
lot
mounted guys.
Great stuff coming all on the way for the Mortal Realms with the Ogre More Tribes and this incredible range refresh.
Yeah, we've got
What
some
else we got
close-ups
to
here.
cover?
Have a look.
So we
Just
have
a
to go
sense of how
back to
big,
40k.
how
So there's
big
a
it is.
kill
I don't know
team
if we've got
stuff,
human
yeah.
we seem to have wandered up. Maybe the A-team when we weren't looking.
So here you've got Red the Moor in the middle. You can see the size of
Necromunda,
him.
we still have
Really an
Necromunda
absolute
to copy.
beefcake. And this enormous cauldron that he's got that's just full of offal. His great big spoon for stirring around the cauldron. Here on
do
the
look
side,
like the
you can
Dark
see
Elves,
the,
yeah.
the Ogre Butcher. He's really quite an impressive model in
We've
his own right.
seen the terrain.
Again, this huge cauldron. If I spin him around, you can see just how
That's
detailed
probably
these
most
models
things.
really are. Just something to behold. Loads of things going on.
Yeah,
in the back.
I'm getting
Sort of
Antiques
sort of these,
Roadshow vibes. So,
more horns
how
and
much do you
things
think
so
this
that
is
they're
worth?
carrying
Like,
trophies
oh,
and things
before
all
I
around.
answer that,
Just really
tell
great.
me about it. How did your
it's an
grandmother
incredible looking
inherit
kit. I
this
think
massive
You get a
gut?
sense of the size of him because that's a human, right? That he's holding on the butcher.
Yeah, no
there, so-
kidding. He's got half a person.
Yeah, got
Chaos
half a person
cults,
there.
mate. Yeah, they could do a Chaos
Pretty
cults
great.
book.
So anyway, these
Gene
have disturbed
Stealer
me for long
cult
enough.
for
I'm
Necromunda?
really
I suppose
excited
we
to
had
see, them
the
come out.
Hive
I think
Secunda
they're
stuff,
gonna
so
make
no, we
quite
won't
a
get
wave
Gene
in the Mortal
Stealers.
Realms. We are still not done yet. There is still more awesome stuff to talk about in this big summer preview. Next, we're going down to the Underhive.
Yeah. Because we've got just over 15-20 minutes left to cover all of the things. So are these the butchers? We've got Escher. Those definitely look very Escher. Blades of the Matriarch. Our Goliaths. So is this like almost an expansion from the core set? Oh, it's a new core set. That's not that much terrain. I was expecting more for, Necromunda. Ooh, they're slightly raised up on a platform. So it won't be a new edition of Necromunda, it'll
Welcome
be...
back and welcome to the
expanding
Underhive
it?
with a new edition of Necromunda Skirmish. This is very exciting. I'm a big fan of Necromunda. I've played it since I was a 16-year-old boy, and it's great to see a new edition come. This is essentially an edition reset for Necromunda, and this
Right.
core set
An
here that
edition
you can see here,
reset,
this
so not a
two-player
new
battle
edition?
box is the perfect way to get into
It's
it.
called
If you're an
Necromunda
existing
Warhammer
Necromunda player, we'll talk
Skirmish,
about, some other ways
brackets
too.
Necromunda.
Here you can see it on the screen. It pitches the Orlok. Sorry, crikey, you can see me going to my
What
favourite
edition is it?
gang.
Yeah, so it's
just
not called
automatically.
Necromunda
It pitches
Skirmish,
the
it's a
Goliaths
Warhammer
against
Skirmish
the
game.
Escher in a classic
Necromunda.
house matchup. Let's have a look at some of the.
I don't know if they'll
kits that
start
come with it.
doing
We've got
more
a
of these
box
or
here,
not.
which we can use as a prop.
It's
We've got some
very-
great images to show on the screen.
Yeah, the
Contains
board looked
two
very
gangs,
flat.
in the box. The first of which are these. They are the Blades of the Matriarch.
So it's a
This
standard
is all new models.
Escher
We've
gang?
not released these ones before, and there's some.
I always
fantastic
found the
options in there.
previous
At the back,
Escher
for example,
models,
you can see
like
a
the
Hunters
current
with
ones,
auto pistols and multi
had
harness.
very big
On the right-hand
bellies,
side, you've got one
was
which
odd.
is a Blade Maiden with a shock whip. You've got the Chem.
Yeah, I'm
Chem
wondering if
Witch,
they do like a
you've got the
skirmish
auto chem
version
that's
of
like,
it, or maybe they're just saying
crazy-looking
rather than a
flame thing
game
that
in a
you can see towards
box,
the back.
it's
Loads of
still its
fantastic options
campaign
to
because
really
people play
fill out an
Necromunda as a
Escher,
campaign. That's the
gang.
point.
If you've already got an Escher gang, you'll probably want to add these to it because it gives you even more options and even more fantastic models. This is also a perfect starting point for an Escher gang in its own right.
Yeah, there's not
You
many
could never have played,
guns. I see
a
the
game of
whip,
Necromunda. It
a
needs to be
standard,
wonderful jumping
tiny
off point.
pistols,
They go
got
head to
presumably a
head
chem
with
cannon.
The Goliaths, these are the Forge Smelters. Goliaths, the House of Chains, known for their
Yeah,
sort of
it's not the rat
industrial power.
skins. I have the rat
all
skin
of
renegades.
These, like heavily muscled, stim-enhanced warriors carrying weapons which
Yes,
kind
they're
of have an
Goliaths,
industrial
we
feel. So
know.
you've obviously got the heavy cover at the back, but there's loads of other
So it's
weapons
8
that
versus 8
might
still?
be less familiar. For example, you've got the Crumper Riveter Cannon on the right-hand side. The Lady Goliath is holding that. You've also got things like the
Lady Goliath?
Servo Medicare.
Yeah, I don't know
you can
what
see
reset
on,
means. I don't know if
the,
they're going to come out
Goliath
with
at the front.
core
You've
rules
got one
or
with a chem slugger.
this is
There's
like a
loads of different things
replacement
going
for
on
the
so that
core
you can,
box. So if they sell
either
the
add these to
Necromunda starter set
existing
again,
or just use these as your
they'll
first
give you
ever
the
Goliath. I really
existing
like the
core
ignition
rules,
cannon
but it comes
on
with
the
these
left-hand
models.
side. Two fantastic gangs.
Like they did with the old world,
You
where there's a
also find
new
inside the
versus box,
absolutely
but it comes
everything
with the
you
existing
started
rules,
playing.
which
So
have
you
already
the
had
gaming
very
map,
big
the measures, the
FAQs
dice, the
and
templates, all
erratas.
the cards and bits and pieces. You have a full rule book. You also have some terrain. The
Some
position you're
terrain.
going behind to start
That could be
playing
described
your
as
games.
some terrain. It's not
Uh,
even
essentially,
like
this is
Zone
a
Mortalis
wonderful way
with
to kick
areas
off
blacked
Necromunda
off.
if you've just never played before and kickstart you into the new edition.
Very open board,
here
which
you
is
see,
not how
like a close-up
Necromunda
on
is.
Some of those other things as well. There's really a lot to enjoy here in these gangs, and if you look at the back of the box, you can see it all sort of laid out.
Okay, so yeah, you get
panning
templates,
around,
get
just
rulers, things that should have been in the
full to the brim of
40k
great
launch
Necromunda
box.
stuff. There's more to come in
That's
this new
all the
edition
terrain
than just
put
this.
very
It's
close
worth
together,
saying
so it
that,
looks like lots.
Necromunda, the thing that makes it so exciting is this continuous war between the great gang houses. So there are 6 gang houses that you might be familiar with if you know Necromunda well. Essentially, you have the
I
Warlocks,
hope this
the
isn't a
Banisars,
reset, because
Warlords,
things like
Galak,
the Butchers,
Escher, Goliath,
the Enforcers.
you can see them all displayed here. These are Underhive crew boxes. These contain models that you might already know if you're familiar with Necromunda, presented in a brilliant format that lets you essentially make one purchase to start an entire Underhive crew of your own. I'm a big
How many
fan of
models are you
Necromunda.
getting
I've
in
played it for
these
years and years.
boxes?
It's got a really big Orlok gang, and I looked at the Underhive crew and was like, oh, that's essentially everything you need for a really fantastic Orlok crew. Things to talk about quickly while we're here. So obviously this box contains everything. If you just wanted the Necromunda rulebook, say you've got loads of Necromunda stuff and you don't want to buy a new the core box for some mad reason, then you can just buy the Necromunda rulebook. This is a large hardback book. It's just packed with lore and rules and all the good things that
sounds
you would
like
want
new
to know
edition.
about Necromunda.
Definitely sounds like new edition of
And it's been revised.
Necromunda.
They've made updates to the rules to sort of
But with
streamline
Escher and
things.
Goliaths
Every
again
role
in the
feels
starter
like it
set,
really
which
matters.
is not what
Games
I
are
would
very
have thought
exciting.
they
I'm
would
really
have done. I mean,
excited
I
to
guess
sink my teeth into it.
Goliaths are the Space Marines
If
of
you've got an existing gang
Necromunda.
and
You've got to
want
have
know
them
where
in
you
there.
find the rules for that, there's 2 more publications coming along for you. These are gangs of the Underhive, which deal with those 6 gang houses we talked about before, along with various hangers-on and hired guns. And you've got gangs of the Outland, which deals with those gangs and sort of Necromunda denizens operate outside of the normal sphere. Things like
So
the
that's where
Ironhead
Genestealer
Prospectors
Cult
or
would
the
be?
Ashways Nomads. And you'll find their rules along with the various hangers-on in those books. So essentially, pick up the core rule book.
I
pick
know
up
the original
gangs
90s
of
one was
the
Orloks
book that
versus
you need,
Goliaths.
and
So
you
there's
are
your Goliaths
good to
again.
go with
And the
Necromunda
2017
Skirmish.
version was
Still
Escher
more.
against Goliaths.
Really useful to have
Girls
on the side
versus
of the table. You've
boys.
got the core gang tactics cards. I find having like
When was that, like
really useful when I'm playing
1993?
Necromunda. It's a very
Necromunda?
well game. And you've also
That
got
sounds
the
about
scenario
right.
cards which help organise your campaign, get your games flowing really
Okay, now
nicely.
show us Kill Team.
Also, if you want to like enhance your battlefield, get your game going, there's an enormous range of fantastic Necromunda
Oh,
scenery.
you can
and
buy
terrain.
additional
The
terrain
Zone
sold
Mortalis range is
separately.
big and beautiful, and there's an addition
But
to
you
it now with
need-
these
you need a lot
Factoria
of
pipes.
terrain.
You'll find some Factoria pipes inside that core set, and there's even more if you buy this Factoria.
Well, they're doing Orc
like,
Trox, and they haven't
box.
mentioned Gorka Morcus, so
and brick.
no.
Yeah, I think that's one of my favourite things
1994.
about Necromunda is when you start
Could
to see
be,
people
yeah.
like really lean into the scenery and they've got their Zone Mortalis bit and then they start building up.
Whereas
and you get
Mordheim was,
pipes
like,
and walkways, and You
1999.
can have like fights across the gantries, you can shoot people down from
Or
higher
2000.
up, and all that sort of good
Yeah,
stuff.
absolutely. My favourite games in Necromunda are always the ones which
I
play
wouldn't
multiple
say
levels
that these are all looking like expansions. It's like one
do
book,
like a bit of Ashways
which is not
every
the
now and
core
again.
rules
Yes, I
for
agree,
the main
but
gang,
that's something
and then another
There is
book
something
for
cool
the
about, like, the
weird
first
gangs,
time
which I'm
Yeah,
hoping
yeah,
should
well,
have
that-
Genestealer
that's
Cult,
just
Chaos
my mind.
Cults, and Enforcers.
If you've never played Necromunda before, this really is a perfect jumping on point. Necromunda is a really exciting game. Ask any Necromunda fan and they will like enthuse about it. How
Not as
great
much
it is.
vertical stuff, but
and
that
if
was
you're
the
an
whole
existing Necromunda
point.
fan and you're looking for new challenges,
you just
so
had to
it's
make
really
the
great
terrain
because the rules have
card,
been
like in the
tweaked and
90s
streamlined.
set.
There's going to be new secrets to unlock. And it's going to be a good time to be fighting battles in the Underhive. The narrative that's been unfolding. for
Oh,
past
the
few years,
narrative.
Succession is kind of done with, and I'm really excited to see where the team responsible for Necromunda take it in this new era. It's going to be cool.
Yeah.
And we are still not
More.
done. Yep,
Oh.
we are sticking around in the 41st millennium, but we're going to go to Warhammer 40,000 Kill Team with this.
Now I wonder what this is going to be. Sounds very Exodite-y. I'm thinking Exodites. What with the jungle? Now it's not going to be Catachan, so Exodites? No, it would be crazy to do
After
Exodites.
years of searching,
I think they might do Exodites.
we're closing in on something unseen for decades.
People are going to buy the Exodites, aren't they? But so far looks like one unit. Yeah, there's 4 with 2 little hound things. Cannon blade, fighting the orcs, the savage orcs. Stone singer magician. Sniper dragon, okay. That doesn't feel very Exodited. Dragon Knights. The Masters.
We are alive and well in this year of 2026.
So dog
And
pets.
who would have had Exodites on their 2026 Warhammer Bingo card.
This is a super exciting box set.
Really, right?
This is awesome. So obviously, every time we have a new
It
Kill Team box
spins.
set, it's very exciting. This one, I think, it will be particularly interesting, not just for fans of Kill Team, but for fans of Warhammer 40,000. Exodites
Let me see
are
if I
one of
can
those
get it.
last
So
untapped
it comes
awesome
with
bits of Warhammer
3
40,000
Dragon
lore.
Knights
Whenever we get to
and
kind
2
of
dogs.
unveil a cool new corner of the Millennium.
10
it's
of
always
the
very
Savage
exciting. I think
Orcs,
Exodites absolutely
and
fall
then you've
into
still
that
got your
little
Knob on
corner.
Smasher
If you
Swig
don't know
and
what
your
Exodite is,
3
very
mounted
briefly,
fellows.
when the Eldari Society was starting to sort of way back before the fall, starting to fall into decadence and depravity, the Exodites were like, no, thank you very much, and they left main society and they settled on.
That's what it shows on the back. I've just told you what's on the back.
Mainstay of Eldar Society called Maiden Worlds.
Worlds. Beautiful jungle planets full of rich flora and fauna and full of all sorts of weird, wonderful creatures.
Absolutely.
And then when Eldar Society
Dragons.
was destroyed, in the
Dragons
fall,
seem nice.
The Exodites were one of the few remaining bits.
Unfortunately,
that were left.
they just look
Now
very
in the
Age of
41st millennium,
Sigmar
They have these
at this
pockets
point.
of idyllic beautifulness across Warhammer 40,000. Obviously, this being Warhammer 40,000, if you've got something lovely, everyone wants to knock it
I've
over.
done
Invade
like
it.
campaigns
There's
on
always
a
a
Maiden
war
World.
So
Maiden
whenever
World they
their
do?
planets are invaded, they have to defend them with whatever tools they can find available. And the closest thing available is giant reptilian beasts that they can ride into battle.
Should we have a look at the
and crush their
models?
foes with.
So yeah, here we go. These are the Exodite Dragon Masters. Eddie,
All
this
right,
is a
yeah, and you
very
got your
unusual
Psyker,
team, right?
got your
So
Sniper.
this is a kill team first and foremost. It is really kind
It's
of
a kill
weird, but really
team.
fun, unusual kill team. It is effectively 3 models and 2 little hangers on, so it's immediately very, very elite.
Okay.
In terms of how it plays in kill team, it plays in a really interesting and unique.
Yeah, they're
going
gonna
to
be interesting in kill team for sure.
APL.
They're not usually
4,
how
which
you
is
do
wild.
kill team, where
Yeah,
you've got
absolutely.
mounted
Kill team, so
people
you can do
suddenly.
all sorts of cool maneuvers. They
And I
are
wonder if
very,
the little
very
dog
fast, as
creatures
you
will be
imagine,
doing all
faster
of
than
the
anything
actions
else in
and
kill team. They can
opening
leap up
doors
across
and
bits of terrain,
yeah, my
so if you
rumor
think
video
you'll
that I
snipe at the
made
battle
up is
battlefield, like
suddenly
say,
turning out
perched
to be
on
right.
Ruin. Think again, because
Oh,
the
no.
giant reptilian with an Eldari
no.
warrior on the back is racing towards you, ready to chop your head off. You have 3 very different kinds of characters in there. Effectively, you've got a warrior
Can you do
archetype,
Dragon
a
Riders and
mage
Space
archetype,
Hulk?
and a
Yeah,
sniper
any of the
archetype, and they all
settings,
do
you can
very
have the
different
Dragon
things,
Riders.
for your kill team.
Yeah, so here on the screen you can see the 3 different ones laid out. Essentially, you have the Clan Blade, which is the close combat one. You have the Lay Stalker, which is the one with the sniper rifle, and then you have the Stone Singer,
And a
which is
sorcerer.
the Exodite who focuses on using psychic powers. And then they also have these little beasts that run around with them, and those are called Dracolites.
Yeah, and they look familiar to. If
Yeah,
you
how
know
are they
kind of
gonna
how
get through the
Eldar Craft will
doors?
work, there's a little bit
Somehow.
of the Autarch to this one. There's a little bit of the Farseer to this one.
Absolutely.
There's a little bit of the kind of Ranger.
I think they
so
do
have
look a
kind
bit
of
too
common
much
ancestry
Age of
with the
Sigmar
Eldar
than
of the Craft
40K.
worlds, but they have gone up in a slightly different sort of
I like the
cultural
white
direction.
paint scheme.
And the
It's nice,
biggest
but this
difference
is
really
screaming
they
Age
ride
of
on the back
Sigmar
these
to me.
cool
This
reptiles.
is saying
Yeah.
war cry,
but
war
a
cry.
really fun
Like the
kill team. A very
Lumineth Realm
different
Lords,
kill
they
team.
had a
I
lot
think
of
probably
white.
going to be a very popular kill team as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not the only thing you get in this box. You've also got a bunch of orcs in here.
And also there's some
way that
orcs.
the
Oh, by the way, it
orcs,
comes with a bunch
work
of
in
orcs
this
as
kill
well.
team is a little bit like the Red Terror set that we had recently, where they are
But the
effectively
Red Terror set
non-player
gave you
operatives,
new
and,
Cadians plus the
you
Red Terror,
You can play a
whereas
bunch of
this
different
is
games
giving
against
you
these, either as
some,
a
like
one-player or a
5 new
two-player
models, but
series.
3 only
There's a
people
campaign
care
in the
about,
box which
and
tells the
then
story
some
of
orcs that already
War,
existed.
which has landed on this
That are
planet.
apparently
The
all
orcs
gonna be
who are
strength
beast
5
snaggers
as
basically find a
standard.
world full of monsters, and they're like, "This is a
Hopefully
paradise."
their
Look
points
at all
go
these-
up,
look
because
at
they're
all these
currently
giant beasts we can
75
hunt. The
points
Eldar
for
are obviously
boys,
much less
which
keen on
is
that than
the
the orcs, and they have
same
to try and
as
drive off the
Guardsmen.
orcs so you can play through this campaign. Also, of course,
Could be
all
used
the
instead of
stuff in
Eldar
this box
bikes.
you can also
Yeah,
use
you
in
could use them
Warhammer
as the Shining
40,000.
Spears, because
Yeah, just to give a
I'm
shout
wondering
out
if
to
these
that
can
Kill
be
Team
like
Exodite
multi-part
book.
build.
It's really cool.
Here's
I got to
your
have a look through it the other day.
kill team,
It's
but
got
they
great
also
lore in it.
build the
There's
all
stories
sniper
from
team,
the
and they
perspective
also
of the
build the
Eldari
all
Exodites.
lance team.
There's also like that campaign has some great missions in it. There's
If they're not
guides
filling
on
it
how
with
to set up and
intercessors
your
to make
battlefield
sure the
look like
padding
amazing
is there,
world. It's
they're
a
filling it with
wonderful book.
orcs.
They've done an amazing job sort of bringing this to life.
Yeah. Worth saying, one of the other
It depends
ways
which
that
horde
can
you are.
build up
If it's
the
Necron
kill team
horde,
that you
that's
get
doing
in this
really
set
well. If it's
is
Orc horde,
as
that's
another
doing really
unit,
well.
which is called the Dragon Knights. These are the archetypal, I suppose, the closest thing we've got to
Dragon
a
Knights.
classic version of an Exodite.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very reminiscent
Yep.
of some of the very cool Warhammer
That
40,000
one
art
piece
from
of
some the
artwork.
early editions. This is effectively a fast cavalry unit of Exodites riding on those huge reptilian beasts. And they work a little bit in game, I suppose, like your Shining Spears, where they could charge in. They actually have laser lances, which is the same weapon. that
good, they
Shining
should
Spears
have laser
So
lances.
they punch pretty hard, but as well as the rider on the back fighting,
You've
who's a
also
good fighter.
got a crazed reptile beast helping you fight, right?
Absolutely. so they hit really, really hard. They are like, they're not super durable, but they're a little bit more durable than some of the other kind of combat units you might find in an Eldari army. So they're going to be quite a useful little unit. I think you will see them dotted around various Warhammer 40,000 battlefields and Eldar armies quite soon. The other forces in this box, the Dragon Masters, you could also use in Warhammer 40,000. And the way that
I'm glad you can use them in 40k.
Each one is effectively an individual character in your Eldari army. So you've got the kind of lone
So the sniper is a character, so the psyker is a character, so the guy with the sword is a character.
So effectively, this one kill team provides you with 4 different data sheets for Warhammer 40,000 Eldari armies. So it's a really flexible little.
Okay, not the sniper. The sniper's not their own character.
Eldari force.
Yeah, so Kill Team Exodite contains 3 Exodites and the 2 Dracolides.
Always comes with the dogs, so it's kind of like the
down the line. So
new Space Wolves with their shields and their characters killing ability, which comes with dogs.
Might have Exodites in it as well. When you look at the history of the Eldari, the Craftworld Biel-Tan is so affronted at the state of the Maiden Worlds that they aggressively defend Maiden Worlds from any interference. Obviously,
gotta defend those Maiden Worlds.
The Rangers who travel around the webway and they visit all the Maiden Worlds.
It is a lot like the new Inquisitor.
It's one of the main reasons the Eldari
the
come
big
into
sniper
conflict with other races, right? They don't seek it out particularly, but one of the things that they have is this sort of cultural association with these planets, and whenever anyone invades, it's almost like it's sacrilegious, right?
They're protecting the last true
absolutely, yeah.
So if you want an all Exodite army, well, you've got a couple of units, and on top of that, I suppose you can add like Guardians.
Planets can't really. So when the Imperium shows up and decides to build a Forge world on your wonderful Paradise world, you have to
protect the Maiden.
Yeah, absolutely. It's worth having a little look at the models, I think. So here we have a stunt beast snagger.
They've all got to just visit the Maiden Worlds.
Pose, and then you can get a sense
Otherwise,
of the scale
they're
of
craft
these things
worlds.
when you bring the Exodite up alongside. They're
Stab,
alive.
go stab
the
an orc.
beasts look really muscular, but they're still.
I don't know if you're so much fighting for a Maiden World as you're just hunting orcs at that point.
Just beautiful paint jobs, right? They're going to lend themselves really towards.
Yeah,
I
almost
mean,
as
the
many
models are
units
beautiful.
as
Like I think
the
I
Harlequins,
really
I
like the
suppose.
leader
That's
unit.
in particular.
You've got the Lance version, you've got the
leader
Sniper
of
version, you've got 2
Dragon
characters.
Knight is just really, really excellent miniature. I think just the kind of straight on pose for him. I'd be amazed if we don't see a few of those at Golden Demons and things. He's got that beautiful back banner, obviously, which is lending itself to kind of whatever showing off painting scheme you'd like to have a go at. The reptiles they're riding themselves, you could paint in almost any color you can imagine.
The reptiles that are riding
The Heavy Metal
themselves.
team here has gone for some really cool, vivid color schemes.
Well,
You could
reptiles.
have anything in your
It's
paint
dragon
collection, you could paint
things,
these
you
guys.
can paint
I
them
think they're
however you
gonna be,
want.
a joy
Paint
to
them
paint,
red,
and I
paint
can't
them
wait to see
orange,
what
paint them green, paint them
Absolutely.
blue, paint them purple.
As I said before, like who had
Most colours work very well.
I think at least 3 people guessed when we posted it.
you get to.
Well done, you, if you guessed
Well
Exodites.
played. I'm delighted. They've existed in the lore for such a long time, and it's really exciting to see them like on the tabletop in this way before. This is the first time we've ever seen Exodites in plastic, and kind of the first time really we've seen them properly.
I think there was like one little shred of cloth
a little,
on one of the Corsairs.
maybe
Had a bit of scaling.
little metal one for
Oh yeah, maybe.
back
Yeah.
in the day. And other than that, they've existed in the stories and in some
Yeah, they've just
pieces
had
of
some
artwork.
really
So,
old artwork for
what a
the
happy time.
Corsair.
We're
Well,
very
for
excited.
these
And
fellows.
also the love and passion that spilled
And the
out
Corsairs
of
as
Warhammer
well
Studios
look a
that
lot
told
like
us
the
about
Dark
them.
Elf pirates with their
So,
Corsair
hopefully
cloaks.
you're as excited about these as we are, because they're very exciting. What else is there to say?
Guard Rider
We have
proxies,
come
if you don't want to have the
That was a lot of
horses.
stuff,
Yeah.
man.
It was a lot of stuff, and we said it would be about 90 minutes, and we're very, very nearly there. So thank you if you are still with us and enjoying the Warhammer preview. It's been lovely to have you with us.
Very
I
good.
should round up. There have been a couple of questions floating around. One of them I can field right now. Somebody asked in the chat.
Only one question gets
What's
answered.
the cost to the Warhammer Academy? The cost is nothing. It is free. You'll need to log in and sign up.
So
but
as
it is
long as you
designed
have
to
a
help you
Warhammer
just get
Plus
started
account,
with,
you can
your
sign
Warhammer
into the
journey.
Warhammer
So
Academy.
it doesn't cost anything. Just join in and start learning about Warhammer and
Oh, good.
honing your skills.
Thankfully,
and
they're
gaining
not doing
confidence as you do so.
paid Academy grift
If
thing.
you've got more questions, well, we got good news. A few weeks back, Eddie and I did a Q&A, and we had a nice time doing it. So we're going to
It's
do
a
another
terrible
one
Q&A.
in a couple of weeks. So here is an email
Another-
address appearing mystically on your screen. Quanda, that is Q&A at preview.warhammer.com. That is where you can start sending your questions. Hopefully, Warhammer-related questions, and specifically about things we've talked about in the preview.
I mean, you can send in
All
any
right.
question, but
Okay,
only answer
so
the
it's
Warhammer
about the
related
I
preview
have very
stuff.
few specialist subjects. and
Not,
most of them revolve
hey,
around
what's
Warhammer.
happening with the rules of 40k?
Yeah,
Because
please
the
do
rules of
send us
40k
Warhammer
are
questions, that Q&A in a couple of weeks' time. We'll let you know closer to when it's going to be. We'll go through those questions. We'll pick the best ones, and we'll sit down and have a little session.
I'm not a
where
fan
we
of the
read through
Attilan Rough
Yeah,
Riders
absolutely.
with their
Right.
cloaks on the front
I
half
guess
of the
all that
horse and
remains
bear
then
on the
is
back.
Thank you, everybody, for coming and joining in this preview and spending some time with us.
So you
Thank to all
can't
the
buy a
people behind the
degree from
scenes who
Warhammer
pressed the
Plus.
buttons and moved the models around and made it all work. You are champions. Thank you, Eddie, for knowing all the answers and making me look
That's
good.
all right. I had a great time.
Brilliant. In that case, until next time, we'll see you again very soon. Good night.
And that's the end of that. Okay. I do have things to do. And I didn't see what that was. Ah, it's money. It's money. Oh my god, ponies. Thank you for the monies, for saying thank you for the stream. That's very kind of you. Yeah, nothing particularly new for Space Marines other than there's going to be a combat patrol. No mounted sisters, but it sounds like we're going to get... Well, we got the mounted... I need to get rid of that. Mounted Eldar was something. Fuck that. Good. Get rid of their sounds. Move back into my normalish place. Very good. Yes, we should definitely ask them what they're on about with incursion sized, because I didn't quite understand, and I'm going to go back to it at some point and figure out what they're selling, what size board you get with it, and what that means. Because 9th edition had the membership. Very nice. Thank you for renewing your membership. Well done at the _ battle chicken. We'll have to see, because 9th edition had 44 by 30, like this combat patrol size board was what they recommended for 1,000 points. And it kind of worked. Bigger boards seem to work better. 44 by 44 I think is good for 1,000 points. The full 60 by 44 is a little bit much. I don't know if Necromunda is a proper new edition of Necromunda. They said it was like a reset, but I guess it is. I guess it is. Yeah. We'll have to see what they do with Necromunda when we get closer to the Necromunda time to find out the Necromunda rules. Chaos stuff for Old World looks good. Nice dragon. Can I explain my tutor program? So my tutoring thing is less of a ongoing tutoring. It's more of, here's a one-off problem that you have. You give me £20, I talk through it well enough. I don't know if I can do it not on Discord, though. I might be able to do Microsoft Teams. We might be able to figure out something. An email campaign for the FAQ? Well, if they're just doing stuff about... Well, just the reveals that they've done today, other than, hey, what's an incursion size board mean? I think that's the closest we can get, really. Thank you very much for the money letters from Lynx. That's very good of you. Right, you are most welcome for Big Stream. Big Stream has been fun. I need to get on and do things tonight. Yeah, their chat is always terrible. Our chat is amazing. This is why we are here. Right, that's all I'm going to do for this live stream. I need to get away. I need things that tend to be done from me. Goodbye to you. I'll see you in the next. I haven't set up my new microphone with the end stream. Bye-bye. I'm saying goodbye. I'll see you in the next stream or the next video. Okay, bye-bye now. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.